Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Today's very short reading from the Bible is from Genesis. And God promised men that good and obedient wives would be found in all corners of the earth. Then he made the earth round. And he laughed, and he laughed, and he laughed. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Morning, morning, morning. Oh, thank you very much. I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and it's a Thursday, October the 17th. Good morning, everybody, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 great locations, serving you with a huge tire sale going on right now, along with our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley. And another great advertiser is Valley White Home and Ranch at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. And with all that being said and done, we say good morning to Miss Muffin over there with the, what, not muffins, it's
Miss Muffin, Miss Dumpling.
Dumpling, yeah, dumplings.
You know, my mom used to call me Muffin, though, so.
Oh, really?
That was one of her little pet names for me.
You little Muffin.
All right, she's all, hey, Muffin, how's it going, Muffin? I love you, Muffin.
Oh, please. Okay, that's very nice.
Hey, you asked.
I can't use the name my folks used for me.
No, at least not on the air.
Not on the air. Nope. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's kind of a busy Thursday, but I'm all alone here in the studio, and it's kind of creepy.
Are you afraid of the ghosts of radio people past?
No, they should be afraid of me, actually.
You know, there's a lot of truth to that. If there's a ghost over there or some kind of a willful soul that wants to commit any kind of a criminality against her, think twice. This babe is tough, let me tell you.
Paranormal or not, I'll take it on.
Well, they won't be paranormal. They'll be abnormal when you get done with them.
And, you know, in this industry, that is not unheard of.
Abnormal?
Yes.
We have a lot of abnormal people.
We do. There's a lot of unique individuals.
Unique individuals, like they sneak up on a rabbit, you have to unique up on them.
Yes, unique up on them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have a pledger?
It's me and you.
Ah, well, guess who's going to do it today? You.
I promise I won't forget Indivisible.
You had to rub it in. You had to rub it in.
I really did. Okay.
Yeah, make a mark on her check for next month, would you?
Add a little extra DN because I got that one in. Ha,
Okay.
ha, ha, ha.
All right.
And then we've got Michael on for the flag.
Very good.
So, all right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There was a smirk that I couldn't see, but I could feel going through the radio right there.
I had my hand over my heart.
I know you did.
Yes, I did.
Oh, let's go on with Michael Rogers. Weather, good morning. It's a beautiful day outside in the neighborhood.
Yes, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Another day is sunny, high 59, over that low about 38, 37. Beautiful out here, and it carries all the way through the week. I mean, that's it. There's nothing more to talk about. Just enjoy the day. Enjoy the weather. Don't know what you got.
There you go. Short and sweet. Michael Rogers Weather. We appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. And we'll have updates on the weather with Michael Rogers all through the show, so stay tuned. Let's go sell some cattle. Where's Merv May?
Hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.
That is the chant of the world's best auctioneer right there at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And that's Merv May along with Lance Udy and the rest of the crew saying, come on, come on, come on down to the sale. Sale time 10:30 today at the Burley Livestock Yard. And here's some of the run they're going to have. Miller Brothers over to Rockland bringing down 100 head of 600-pound calves, ripping good calves. P-Bar S Ranch over to Connor Creek. How you folks doing over there? Good country. 30 head of mixed calves. Steve Mullins over at Oakley. Hello, Stephen. 40 head of calves coming into the sale today. And Bob Park over to Malda's bringing 100 head of calves. Spencer Gardner of Malda, 45 head of calves. And Lane Anthony up at Arbor Valley, pretty part of the country, semi-load of calves. And the Double Diamond Ranch over to Goose Creek. Hello, Goose Creekers. It's 20 head of calves coming in from them. Sale time at 10:30 today at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. And the number to call for more information, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, hey, good set of steer calves there. Here to get all 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, and I selling $1.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom again.
Oh, yeah. Hey, now don't forget, a little bit later on this morning, we're going to have our third drawing for the Zeb at the Ranch, Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, my weekly newsletter. And we've got literally thousands of names in there. And this week we're going to be drawing for a beautiful travel bag supplied to us by Valley White Home and Ranch, coffee mugs, caps, $50 gift certificate inside the bag from Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. Woo! We're going to have the drawing at 10:54 this morning, so you stay tuned. You still got time to get your names in for next week. Our grand prize drawing for next week. Don't miss it. Hey, don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call if you want to call ahead and have everything waiting for you on the counter, 678-0459. They're open at 7:30 in the morning till 5:30 Monday through Friday. They know the spud people are digging and they're running and they're hurrying and they might need cords and cord ends and fuses and everything else. We'll jump in there because it's hats off to farmers saluting agriculture and free popcorn and pop and a brand new not so smelly baseball cap. I tell you, they got some dandies. 57 years in business serving you at Ramsey Heating and Electric. You better believe it, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Wow, what a mess. What a pathetic waste of time and resources. And quite frankly, what a waste of pride for our country. I've gone over this in my mind since last night, and what happened? What did we gain? What did we gain with this absolutely insane shutdown? And what did we gain over the battle of the deficit, the increase in the deficit? What did we gain? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Who won? I guess you could say Obama. I guess you could say the Democrats. But quite frankly, who lost is all of us. We all lost. Caller, I'll be there in a minute. Stand by. We all lost because of what happened last night. Obama can now spend much, much more with the raising of the debt ceiling. And many experts have predicted that before he leaves in 2016, he'll be well over $21 trillion, putting our country in the bucket. He's now in control to do pretty much as he wants. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell, I mean, you talk about the cave-ins, good grief. You could see that was going to come because those people are on the same page. They want world government, and I'm sorry, but anything to bring this country down to its third world status, that's what they're after. And, and of course, Simpson voted, he doesn't have any backbone to stand up against it. He just goes along with the crowd.
Well, there's pros and cons over going with the crowd or voting to go ahead and stop the shutdown, but let's just look at this thing and be analytical. It did no good for anybody, but if there was any good to be obtained from this, it's going to give Obama more money. It's going to give Obama more power, and I'm telling you what's going to happen this next week. And I'll stand behind this, Adrian, and if I'm wrong, I'll buy you a steak dinner. We are going to see a full court press from Obama, starting possibly even this morning, to have immigration reform, and also to raise taxes, which will fund climate change on his behalf.
Oh, absolutely. Just want to remind your audience at 10:30 this morning, Dr. Ritz is going to be on there talking about Obamacare, and he'll be in Twin Falls tonight at 7 o'clock at the Red Lion Motel or Hotel. And I'm going to give a short little deal on the review of past and present trade agreements as part of that presentation. So hope people will attend that and listen in this morning.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate it, and we'll look forward to having Dr. Ritz call us. Thank you so much, Adrian. Got to run. Thank you. Thank you. Rain for Rent at 134 South 600 West Highway 27 in Paul with the Rain Key Pivot Sales and Service. Boy, I tell you, they've got the best. Great Rain Key rebates right now for the fall. You check it out. Call them at 438-5065. That number again, 438-5065. For your irrigation and industrial services with water, with pumps and everything else, they can help you with great people. Frank Jensen, Skip Hilton, Brooks West, all of these guys serving you. Check it out at Rain for Rent in Paul, 438-5065. Also, I want to say thank you very much to Valley White Home and Ranch, not only for the donation of a lot of our gifts for this week, but I also want to remind you that cattlemen, when the cow's coming home and you need some Smart Lick supplements, well, they've got them. They've got the NE22 and the NE30. You better believe it for cattle on forage, and it helps increase forage utilization by over 33%, and you check it out. All of them are waiting and available for you over at Valley White Home and Ranch, the best of farm, home, and ranch. All your equipment, all your feed, all your clothing, everything at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Your turn. Give us a call, 436-2244. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
As I understand it, everything is supposed to be open now?
As I understand it, everything is supposed to be open now, yes.
Is the White House open again?
Well, now, I don't know what they're going to do about the sequester. There's a lot of questions. I actually don't know. I spent so much time studying the losses on the shutdown and also the raising of the debt ceiling. I haven't paid a lot of attention as to what's going to happen with the sequester. Now, I believe, and I hope I'm not wrong on this, I believe everything's going to be open as of today, but we will wait and see. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Deanne's in the other room, and I'll do some checking, and I'll have her call back there and check on that to Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, quick question for you. Don't forget, next Thursday it's Lunch Bunch. We want you there.
We plan on being there.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I mentioned just a moment ago that I think right now the race car is started, and it's on the track, and Obama's behind the wheel. I think he has thumbed his nose at the Republican Party. I think he, along with Harry Reid and others, are absolutely scuffing off the bottom of what's ever on their shoes onto the three-piece suits of the Republicans. I think that immigration reform is going to be at the top of his list. I think that he's going to basically command and demand everything that goes on in his favor. I think we're going to start to see extremely higher taxes to help energize his climate change tax bills. He's going to get his way. He's going to get his way, and I think that this man right now sees the potential of the death and dying of the Republican Party because of the fragmentation the Republicans displayed. Now, just think about this for a minute, folks. If he, Obama, gains control of the House, he already has control of the Senate, this man can turn into, for the last 2 years of his so-called administration, to a absolute dictator. He will get what he wants, the left will get what they want, and we are going to be suffering in the dust. If this doesn't scare you to get out and get involved in politics, nothing will. I absolutely think that people like Senator John McCain and people like Lindsey Graham and others that absolutely are members of the old guard should be thrown out. They did more, I think, in my opinion, to fragment the Republican Party and fragment the other side, go after the Tea Party, go after anybody that was pro-Constitution. I was sickened by John McCain. Sickened by John McCain. Last night he came out and he said, basically, he condemned Ted Cruz. And I thought that was as poor as I've ever said. He said that he was on a fool's errand when Ted Cruz stood up and tried to draw attention to what the Democrats were doing. So basically, he called Ted Cruz a fool. I mean, I see nothing but capitulation with the Republicans. And as I've stated on this program, and condemned the Democrats and the left for not having any spine or backbone, guess who we have to add into that category this morning? Calls welcome, 436-2244-1866-927-4587. Scott Gano is turning off the sprinklers and blowing out the lines before they freeze up and really do some damage for next year. Boy, I'm telling you, he was over here the other day and he's running. I mean, he doesn't do anything except go at a fast lope. He is on the move along with the rest of his crew of Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 150 South, 950 West of Paul. Call them, 431-8733, and get those sprinkler lines blown out. And by the way, if you're thinking about putting in a new sprinkler system or revamping an old one, just give them a call. Absolutely the best. Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, 431-8733. You call them today. Also, I want to mention real quick, as we're waiting for more of your calls, and I know are coming in, Save On Shells. Now, somebody called me the other day, and they said, did you really get a shell from Save On Shells? Yes, I did, exactly a year ago. Save On Shells, 1827 Overland Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 312-1525, 312-1525. Don't leave your valuable tools and hunting equipment and fishing gear and maybe your saddles and your blankets and your pads and your bridles and your bits laying in the back of your pickup truck so that some bad guy can come along and take them. No, make sure you check on these Save On Shells. Absolutely got a new line of shells from ARE and a great selection of used. Save money, get the best. I did at Save On Shells, 1827 Overland in Burley. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. The whole entire government has failed America. Obama and the entire government are nothing but totally saturated sacks of snake snot.
Helen, I don't think that ever on the program I've had that kind of an analogy given, but it was a rather unique one. Thank you, and I can't argue with you. I agree with you.
I am so angry this morning that I hope none of them show up at my door because there wouldn't be anything left of them.
Well, we're in a mess. We're in a mess right now. Deanne's just handing me notes. I mean, that wife of mine is giving me all kinds of information. The White House is still closed, as to your husband's question, still closed on the sequester. And we didn't gain anything. We did not gain one single thing. As a matter of fact, Helen, this shutdown and the raising of the debt ceiling actually is going to come back and cost us so much more.
I called Simpson's office a few minutes ago, and I told him that I was totally disgusted with him, and I says, I hope you don't plan on coming back to Idaho, because you're not welcome. We don't like traitors here.
You know, if I were a Republican or any politician running for an office or holding an office, I would make sure, I wanted to make sure you were on my good side. I'm scared of you, Helen.
I'm just a pussycat, and you know it.
With fangs 12 inches long. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
God bless. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. 888-978-37. Kathy Krause has Four Paws Bed and Bath, and we're going to get Kathy on the air this next week. She's a little bit unwilling to come on the air because she says, I don't like to talk on the radio, but we're going to get her on anyway. And I want to tell you that they're going to have a huge Halloween happenings party for your dogs and kitty cats on Saturday, October 26th. Free pictures with your pet, refreshments, and you can get costumes for your Dobermans and your Cocker Spaniels and your Wildcats and everything. And you can ghoulify your pet for Halloween. I mean, ghoulify with hair coloring. Take your little Pekingese in there and scare them to death when they look in the mirror. And it's going to be a really cute deal because they got Halloween costumes for your pet over there at 30% off. Four Paws Bed and Bath for your dogs and kitty cats, 370 West, 200 South of Rupert. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I went to a website yesterday called FreedomWorks.
Yes.
Are you familiar with it?
Yes, I am.
And I like on there, they got a scorecard that shows what your senators voted for and representatives voted for and what they voted against. And our Mr. Simpson is below average. He's down around 40%.
Yep.
For the conservative. So and I recommend everybody out there, go to that FreedomWorks and look it over. And I'm beside myself that the senators and everybody gets a subsidy for this Obamacare.
Yeah.
And Obama and his staff and them do not have to be in it.
Yep.
It's his law. He ought to be the first one in line to sign up for it.
Well, first of all, let's give credit where credit is due this morning, okay? I compliment, and I mean this, I compliment Jim Risch, I compliment Mike Crapo, and I compliment Raul Labrador. I do. I compliment them for standing up in a, what you might call a losing adventure in fighting the passage of this bill and the raising of the debt ceiling. And Mike Simpson didn't. There's something that's going to be told here in the not little distance of future against Mike Simpson. I think Mike's going to have a rough road to hoe in his re-election bid. I really do. I think if he's looking for support from people like me, he possibly won't find it because he has never had what I would call gentlemanly decency to call back and apologize for calling me and others McCarthyists over that deal with the Muslim Brotherhood being appointed to certain positions in the White House. And I'm telling you something, I'm adamant that the more we add Muslims, I'm going to get off on this tangent a little bit.
Go for it.
The more we add Muslims to our government, it tells me that we are absolutely asking for a conversion in this country, one which we will never be able to correct or verify. I'm scared to death, like Michelle Bachmann, about these people that we don't know who they are. We don't know really what their feelings are. We do know their political bent because they would like to see, as they said months ago, the flag of Islam flying over the White House. Why in the world are we catering to these people is beyond me.
Well, personally, I think the president is a member of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Well, there again, that's speculation. That's speculation in your opinion, of which I cannot verify, nor do I want to add my name to saying yes, definitely, because I don't know. And to be honest with you, you don't either. It's speculation on your part. Exactly. Now, that's not denigrating your opinion, because you certainly have a right to your opinion. There's so much about Obama that is speculation, and the reason we have speculation is we don't know enough about this guy.
Exactly. He's one of those guys that just appeared in college somewhere and then wound up on the Senate and from Illinois.
I think appeared is a good word. He appeared on the scene, and when you start talking about where are his old girlfriends, where are some of his chums from college, why hasn't there been some articulation about what he did, what he didn't do, classes or different college clubs that he belonged to? Nobody really knows about this guy, but the one question that's never been answered of me, Doug, and I'm running late and I'm going to just have this short, is that no matter what you read, no matter who you ask, you're never going to get an answer to my one question: where did Obama get all the money to be in politics?
That's $1 million question, Zeb, and that would be great if we could find that out.
That's right. You can follow the case histories of Ronald Reagan. You can find out about Bill Clinton. You can find out about Gerald Ford. You can find out about anybody involved in politics. You can check on their backgrounds and find out maybe they were CEOs, maybe they were attorneys, whatever the case might be. You go ahead, and I dare you or anybody else to really show me a financial structure that propelled him to be that powerful in politics.
Well, it just goes back to my feelings and what I think about and where he come from.
Yeah, I agree. I got to run. I'm running late.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I think on the other line we have Jim McCall with Travel Loop Supply at 1050 West, 203 South of Hayburn, the Bubba Rope King. Good morning, Jim.
I'm dialing.
Oh, you're dialing. While you're dialing, I'll quickly take care of this. We're running just a few minutes late. Middlecoff Ford Lincoln Body Shop, 1243 Blue Lakes Boulevard in Twin Falls. Wow, they do a great job. We had Evan on the phone the other day. iCar certified, only shop in Twin Falls area like that, and they strive to make your vehicle repairs undetectable. And I'll guarantee you they've got over 50 years of accumulated collision experience. They did a wonderful job on my pickup after that fire. What a job. Middlecoff Ford Lincoln Body Shop, 1243 Blue Lakes Boulevard in Twin Falls. You give them a call today, 736-2490.
Got him.
Jim McCall, better known as Mr. Bubba Rope. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. Putting the beat here back together. I think we're about ready to roll.
Okay, well, listen, man, I'm all excited. Did you get your pink Bubba ropes in there?
No, they didn't come in. We're going to have to follow up on that, see where they're at.
Well, I tell you what, the minute you get your pink Bubba rope in there, I want you to call me because my wife and I are going to run over and get a snapshot with you holding your Bubba rope that is colored pink, and I'm going to put it on Facebook and everything else, man. I'll tell you. What else you got cooking for us real fast today?
Hey, harvest is in full swing, but I don't know if you noticed, but it froze a couple of times. Good time to get some RV antifreeze. Put in your all the little yard sprayers, the big sprayers that keeps them from freezing up and keeps the seal lubricated.
Okay.
Windshield antifreeze. Get some of that in the system so that don't freeze up either.
Okay. And you've got all the oils and everything they need too, don't you?
We sure do.
For changing over to winter and the colder climates, yes, sir.
Yep. Power service or anything like that for fuel treatment, better get that stocked up.
All right.
So when it does turn cold, you're not waiting on somebody because they're out.
Absolutely.
You know, while we got it.
Absolutely. They got everything that you need over at Travel Loop Supply, 1050 West, 203 South Hayburn. And Jim has told me that he's going to take a great big life-size picture of himself, put it out on the highway with him holding a pink Bubba rope at Travel Loop Supply. The number to call, 438-8730. Jim, God bless you, man. Thanks for calling.
You too, Zeb.
All right, buddy.
We'll see ya.
Jim McCall, one of the nicest guys you ever want to talk to in your life. Hey, as I said, I'm running late, but it's time for, I bit my tongue, Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley. You better believe it for all your recycling. Give them a call at 678-2321. Here's the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
A federal judge has ordered the Longshoremen's Union to stop picketing grain barges in a labor dispute with grain handlers. Longshoremen have been in a labor dispute with several Northwest grain handlers for more than a year. Two handlers, Columbia Grain and United Grain, have locked out union workers, while longshoremen have picketed their facilities. They handle grain from Washington and Idaho, among other states. This summer, longshoremen on boats also began picketing grain barges moored on the Columbia and Snake Rivers that are operated by Tidewater Barge Lines. The National Labor Relations Board sought an injunction against the picketing, claiming they unlawfully harmed Tidewater, a neutral party with no authority to influence the labor dispute. Chief District Judge Ann Akins agreed.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West's Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and CapitalPress.com.
Thank you very much. Brought to you by our friends at Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley. And I'll tell you what, Adam Brower just told us the other day he'll pay $175 in cash to haul away and recycle your old car. All you have to do is give him a call. 678-2321. Pacific Steel and Recycling at 320 West Main in Burley. You give them a call today. Thank you for bringing us the Ag Minute. All right, it's your turn. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There was quite a little fray last night on the floor of the House during the vote. I don't know if you heard about this. I was watching and did not notice the fray, as a lot of Americans, millions of Americans, didn't notice it either until afterward. A House stenographer exploded on the House floor last night, shortly before the House concluded its vote to reopen the government and raise the debt ceiling. Now, this lady, her name is, what in the heck was that just hit my window? Another big bird. Did you hear that crash? Holy smokes. Her name is Diane Reedy, and she's a stenographer for the House. And she makes over $126,000 a year, and she's had it. She has absolutely had it, and she started yelling and screaming on the floor of the House last night. It's deception here. This is not one nation under God. It never was. And she started railing against the way the congressmen were voting for something so insidious. And she said, you can't serve two masters. And she just went on and on and on. And finally, a lot of the House members, they grabbed her and put her out in the hall, and I guess that she's going in for psychiatric treatment and also possible hospitalization. But she absolutely said that she is against the signing of this bill. She's against the wasteful money use in the House and also the Senate, and she just kept railing at these people. And maybe she knows a lot more about what the happenings are than we do. Diane Reedy, and we wish her the best. Calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. There was something else that you should be aware of. If you're not, I have the facts right here in my hot little right paw. The budget deal that got pushed through last night. Now listen carefully to this, because it's not going to be the end of the world on our budget. It's not going to be the end of the world on paying money, but it is something that sticks in my craw. I think it will yours also. In the budget deal that was passed last night, listen carefully, $174,000 was put into the budget deal to pay out to the widow of late Democratic Senator Frank Lautenberg. Now, this caught my attention right away, because we as a nation, couldn't come up during the shutdown and the debt ceiling crisis. We couldn't come up with the money to hand to the families of soldiers coming back from the Middle East. But we are giving, in this budget deal, $174,000 to be paid to the widow of millionaire Senator Frank Lautenberg. As a matter of fact, it was reported in USA Today last month that Lautenberg's net worth was $56.8 million. Now, I know that they have a death stipend for other senators and congressmen when they pass away. Kind of a life insurance policy. But here was a guy that had such a vast fortune that he earned in the private sector. And before entering politics, Lautenberg spent many years running the payroll management colossus of automatic data processing, where he started as a salesman and he ended up as the CEO. Now here we're suffering with money problems. We're suffering with budgetary problems. We can't make ends meet. And into the budget deal, the Democrats stuck in there for the settlement $174,000 to be paid out to the widow of a man that was net worth over $56.8 million. Does that not wrinkle your T-shirt a little bit? It does mine. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with some of these hidden things in bills that are passed. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Once again, we're going to have the drawing later on this morning for the winner of this week's Cow Pies and Coffee Cups. And if you're not getting my weekly newsletter and my weekly blog, all you have to do is go to zebbell.com and put your name in there, type it in, and get it on the list, or send me the email with your email address at zeb@theranch@hotmail.com. And next week we're going to have our grand prize drawing. It's going to be exceptional. Don't miss it, okay? Calls are welcome, and again, our thanks go to Valleywide Home and Ranch and Sportsman's Warehouse for helping us with the extra gifts this week. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, our very own Mitch McConnell, who's supposed to be working on our side, I understand his home state of Kentucky got $3 billion with a B for a dam project.
Did you mean dam in the form of water or dam in the form of you're not happy with this?
Let's say both.
I agree with you. You know, these hidden little intricacies that are added in as little, Lucky Charms inside these bills. I am absolutely outraged. I'm not against the widow. I'm not against the acknowledgement of Lautenberg as a senator, as Democratic senator, but I am against the fact that we had to hide $174,000 payout to the widow of a man that was worth almost $57 million.
I'm against it too. I am so incensed right now because from the Democrats we continue to hear we should not attach something to this that isn't pertaining to this Obamacare, which they hate calling Obamacare. Some of them do, some of them don't. I don't know. But anyway, we shouldn't attach something to it that's not specific to that. And yet, here they're attaching dam projects, D-A-M-N and D-A-M. Dam projects, that's it. And payouts to widows, and I'll bet that's not even the tip of the payoff iceberg. I'd like to know what Idaho gets for Simpsons rolling over in the grave.
Well, let me ask you a question, and you seem like you're very well astutely knowledgeable about what's going on in politics, but just very simply, I'm going to play the devil's advocate for a minute with you. What happened over this last 2 weeks that had any benefit at all to the United States and to you as a taxpayer? Tell me one benefit.
Nothing. No, I think I can actually think of one thing, and that it has mobilized true patriots. That's the only thing I can think of, is that people have begun to collect and to mobilize and to say, we are so done with this. However, I'm afraid that not everybody will stay as angry as you and I.
Well, let me ask you, though, I saw last night, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I would really welcome somebody from the Idaho Republican Party to call me on the air. Please do not show the lack of spine that the Democrats have, but call me on the air right now and tell me that there isn't a complete, not only a fracturing, but a severing of the Republican Party because of what happened over this. I see a split that is going to be hard to heal, and I don't think it can be healed during the next year before the 2014 elections.
I don't think so either. I think that there are a whole lot of Republicans who should just simply say, dang it, I'm only a Republican because I realize that if I don't have an R behind my name in Idaho, that you won't vote for me. I think they should just roll over and put that big old D behind their name and call it good.
I want to have somebody this morning sometime on this program. I don't care if it's right now. I don't care if it's during the segment with Rita Ramsey. I don't care when it is, but call me and please tell me why. why the Republican Party can't bend a little bit and accept with open arms the Tea Party and the people that value our Constitution and our American value system and increase them in the fold so that we can have a powerhouse going into 2014 instead of this silly mock jealousy that is created by people like Senator John McCain and others.
Oh, John McCain, you know I've never liked John McCain from the very first time I saw his face. I never liked him. He always struck me as being greasy.
Well,
that's the best word I can think of for him. It's just slippery, and I've never liked him.
I think
even when he talked a good talk.
He talked a good talk, but not very effectively. And I've said this on the air before, and I'm going to say it again to you this morning. When we look back in the annals of history for Republican challengers for the presidential race, I think John McCain will go in as one of the weakest that we've ever had a nomination for.
I was so appalled when he got the nomination. I thought, holy crap, what have we done? We have so screwed ourselves.
I agree with you, and just hang tough and fight with us, because hopefully there's better days, but we can't weaken. We got to keep pushing forward. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll be standing shoulder to shoulder with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Nice lady right there. I tell you, really, last night, America lost its value system. It lost its value system. We lost everything over the last 2 weeks. We did. We lost everything over the last 2 weeks. And smug, arrogant, and very sinister politics prevailed with Obama and the Democrats. I'll say that again. Smug, sinister, and very arrogant politics prevailed. And we are going to pay for what happened. We are going to pay for what happened. I'll guarantee you we are going to see taxes thrown in our face. We're going to see climate change bills come up in front of us that absolutely are going to destroy businesses and our resources and our progress. We're going to see an immigration reform that's going to absolutely add millions of people to the possible welfare rolls that are going to be paid for by you and I. I dare somebody to prove me wrong. Weather time, I'm running late. Don't forget the weather this hour brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls, with Reese Widmeyer and the rest of the crew. A great down-home attitude with friendly experts that know all about the quality gear that you're looking for. Whether it's for hunting and fishing and archery or camping or boating or ATV driving or electronics, knives, whatever, they know, and they've got the best for you at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. Here now, Michael Rogers weather.
Yeah, everybody, Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Has a beautiful day in the neighborhood for today. It's going to carry all through the week. Sunny, 59 for the high, 38 for the overnight low. Have a great day. Enjoy it. Enjoy the weather. What do you got?
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse this hour, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Hey, by the way, happy birthday to a lovely lady, dear friend of ours, Wanda Sievers in Kimberly. Wanda, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And tell that husband, Gerald, to take you out for a wonderful, wonderful dinner. Happy birthday. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have never liked Robert Redford. I mean, I don't like him as a person. I don't like his personality, and I certainly don't like his politics. Robert Redford, as an actor, has had some good films. Well, one that comes to mind that I thought was excellent was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. But as a person and as an activist, he has caused a lot of problems wherever he has been in this United States. And Enviro, and now comes out and called segments of our politics system, i.e. some of the Republicans and the Tea Party, racist. How dare this old man, this old, wrinkled, worthless now actor, start throwing the race card around? And I listened to the interview where he said, oh yeah, there's parts of the Republican Party and the Tea Party that are racist, and that's why they're against Barack Hussein Obama. I, for one, am so sick and tired of hearing the race card played. The Democrats, in their dim bulb mind, did that to me 8 years ago. Tried to destroy me in this program and really hurt my wife and my family until I fought back. And they put their tail between their legs where it belongs. But it's so easy to call somebody a racist. It's so easy to denigrate somebody with the racism title. And that's a crying shame. I have publicly said, and I'll say it again, just for posterity, I cannot stand Barack Obama. I cannot stand his ideology. I cannot stand his politics. I cannot stand what he's done to this country and is doing to this country. I cannot stand his administration. And not one of those I cannot stands had anything to do with race. But they'll automatically hang the race card on anybody that is going after this man. I don't know why. I don't know why he gets a free card that says, if you criticize Barack Obama, you are automatically a racist and we're going to go after you. Well, they did to me 8 years ago. They did to Frosty Woolridge 8 years ago. And at the same time they were out damning me, I was supporting Condoleezza Rice, hopefully to run for the presidency. Now, they're not the brightest people in the world on that left side of the fence. You can see that. But this race card is much too easy to play. And Robert Redford played the race card in the denigration of some of the politicians last night. And I thought that was totally uncalled for. I hear another person breathing.
The only reason they are pulling the race card is because that's all they got. That's all they got to pull out of the deck.
You were not a part of this program, i.e. at the station, when they pulled this race card on me, but you were at KMBT.
Yes, I was.
And you did ask me to come into the radio station, or the television station, and do an interview with you at that time.
Yep.
You and I were good enough friends that before that you did the interview in a little conference room at KMBT, I looked you right in the eye and said, Gina, this is ridiculous. I'm against the man's politics. I'm against the man's background, and I'm against what he's going to do to America. Why am I being called a racist? You remember that conversation? I know you do.
Oh, yes, I do.
Why was I set up to the degree that every television station in the state was after me, every newspaper was after me? At that time, the Times News, the Statesman, everybody wanted to really run me down and call me a racist because here was the first black candidate for president, and I never once, you never heard me once say anything about his race. It's his ideology and politics that to this day I abhor.
Yeah, and I completely agree, and this is what I'm saying. The only reason that they're pulling the race card is it's the only card that they've got. They know that he's inadequate. They know nobody likes his policies or his politics, but it's easy to fall back on the race card because who's pushing it? The ACLU and the NAACP. They are the ones, because that is the only political card that they have. That's the only thing that they've got to say, oh, well, wait a second. Well, you don't like him just because of his skin color. No, that's not it. We all bleed the same color. The color of your skin does not matter because we all bleed the same. It all has to do with what's in the mind and in the heart, and this guy is not right.
Yeah, you take like the Democrats like Keith Rourke and Debbie Silvers and the rest of them, you know, they were just anxious to see me go down in flames. And I took a lot of offense, and I'll be very honest, I got to kill a fly, hold on.
Okay.
Got him. I took a lot of offense at that time, Lee Wagner and KMBT and the others for trying to promote the fact, let's get him on the news because he's a one-man island right now. I was on an island by myself, and everybody else was swimming around like sharks trying to pull me down.
Yep, they were, and like I will go back and say, the only reason they do it is because it's easy to pull that card, and then it's easy to get people to back them. And even though it's not substantiated, even though I know you, and I know it has absolutely nothing to do with the color of his skin, it has to do with his politics and the man within, but it's just so easy to pull that card because everybody will get on that bandwagon.
You know who saluted me? You know who saluted me for standing up and fighting back against these absolute lowlifes that were after me and my business and my family? Michael Rogers.
Yeah. And you know, and he is a black man.
Yeah.
And he's one of our closest friends.
And there were others of other ethnicities that came over to me and they said, hey, don't weaken, fight back. And one of my very best friends and an advertiser on this program has been since the inception of this program. I sat out in my truck in front of his business, and I'm not going to mention his name without his permission, but I sat out in front of his business for over an hour one morning, and I asked him, I said, what do I do? They're after me, and it doesn't look good. And basically what the whole gist of the conversation was, go after him. Fight back, go after him like a rabid dog. And I did. And these cowards put their tail between their legs and they ran. But it's so easy to damage and denigrate somebody by calling them a racist. And that is, again, why I'm so against the left, the Democrats, and Robert Redford and many others, because they demonize people by using that one word.
And they are the ones, and this is my philosophy on this, they are the ones that are continually perpetuating racism. Racism, in my book, racism is dead. It no longer exists, at least for me. I don't look at people by the clothes that they wear or the skin color that they have. I don't look at that. I look at the person within, because that is truly who they are. But it's just so easy for people to pull that, because they know that automatically they're going to get masses behind them just because, they think, but they don't know.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, for people that know me and people that have followed my life and career, and I'm not going to mention names here again either, but many, many top black athletes are some of my best friends. Yeah. But I'm not going to lump them into a category like I'm showing off trophies on the wall by mentioning their name, because I'm not going to fall into their category. I'm not begging for support, but I'm just telling any Democrat or anybody out there in the audience that ever hangs that label on me again, you'd better have a good lawyer and you'd better be ready to defend yourself in court.
Amen.
Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget the great big huge tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Yes, all 7 locations are serving you with the biggest and best in tires and what you need to drive safely for the next couple of months all the way through the winter. Check it out today at all 7 locations, along with the best in brake service, the very best in, of course, front end alignments and shocks and struts, batteries, and, of course, even a lot of the chrome custom wheels are on sale. You check it out today with Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Lane and Rupert, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Coming up next hour, we're going to have a lot of updates with the Chamber report. We're going to have some public service announcements, Dog Nation, and then, of course, Rita Ramsey coming in. I cannot wait to hear if Rita agrees or disagrees with me over the disaster that we just witnessed over the last 2 weeks. Later on this morning, we're going to have that Dr. Michael Ritz on our program talking about Obamacare and really his thoughts about how bad and insidious it's going to be. He's a member of the Oklahoma State Legislature, a doctor that knows about Obamacare and what's going to happen, and we're going to have him on the program a little bit later on this morning. Right now, we're going to take a break for 6 minutes. I got to calm down. We'll see you in 6. Oh, yeah. Crank that piano up. Oh, I love it. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Big tire sale going on right now, along with some of our great advertisers, including Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland and Burley, and one of our big gift donors for our cow pies and coffee cups this week, Valleywide Home and Ranch at 910 South Oneida in Rupert, and Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. Before we get our guest on the phone, I want to just quickly say, don't forget when you think about life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, all of those things that we don't want to think about, but we have to because it's all part of our security for our home and our business. Think about the best. Dean Cameron and Todd Siemens. 436-4424. 436-4424. Serving you at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. And also our thanks go out. You talk about security. We have the security of knowing that Joel Heward and his staff at Hanson Mortuary will help families. Absolutely, at 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. When there's a death in the family and the passing of a loved one, you know that you'll get the comfort. You know that you'll have the highest ethical standards. You know that you'll have the best of integrity and serving your family at that time of need. Please contact them today, Hanson Mortuary, 436-5636. And learn all about pre-planning for funerals to help eliminate a lot of the stress and the worry. Joel Heward and his staff at Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, serving you. Right now, we go to the telephone line, and there is a lovely blonde lady on the other end of that line, and her name is Kay Cameron with the Chamber of Commerce. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you this morning?
Look outside, lady. How could you be anything else but fantabulous?
Isn't it a gorgeous fall day here in southern Idaho?
And you've got such a view right there out your window. There you are, leaning on your right elbow right now, looking out at Mount Harrison, looking out at the island right there on the Snake River and the beautiful White Cross, looking out at the sunshine. Oh, are you lucky?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. It's just a clear, crisp day this morning, and the trees are turning all the beautiful fall colors, and it is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, what's happening in this land of gorgeousness, if there is such a word as that?
Oh, my gosh, what an exciting day. I'm sure you guys, all you listeners out there, have all heard the news, but we're just very excited and want to congratulate the city of Rupert for landing a new processing facility. Creating 100 new jobs here in our community, and we're just very excited about that.
Now, it's a, what is it, a fruit packing company? What is it? It's called, got it right here in my hand, Frulact, I believe it is. Is that right?
Yes, it's called Frulact. It's fruit processing, and apparently they process and package fruit for all different kinds of things. It could be to go in dairy products, like ice cream. It could be to go in, I don't know, cookies, or I guess anything that you put fruit into.
I tell you what, I understand that they're planning on building, what is it now, a 200,000 square foot fruit preparation and processing plant. Well, kudos to the area, because that's just another arrow in the quiver.
Yeah, I know, it's great, and it's great to see some diversification and new things, and so it's very exciting.
All right. Now, what about special events coming up? Just because it's fall and we're all loving the colors and everything, there's still a lot of things to do, isn't there?
There is. And one thing I want to mention tonight, the City of Burley is hosting a candidate forum if you live within city limits of City of Burley, or if you just want to go and listen to the candidates who are running for City Council. It's a great opportunity to do so, and I know that a lot of our communities have council races or mayor races, so pay attention to what's going on so you can be an informed voter, because they really do make decisions that affect each and one of our local municipalities.
Absolutely. And is there anything that we should be cognizant of over the next couple of weeks that we should be getting a tuxedo and everybody get dressed up for? What's going on?
Well, I don't know about the tuxedo, but yes, our annual Farmer Business Appreciation Banquet is on November 14th, so save the date, and next week we will reveal the big winners.
Okay. By the way, let me again invite you, if you're not tied up, next Thursday to my Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Perkins in Burley. Next Thursday, the 24th, I will buy your lunch.
Okay, I will check my calendar. I'm writing that down. I'll check my calendar when we get off the phone.
And I will have you stand up so everybody can acknowledge and give you a great big round of applause.
All righty.
Hey, listen, if they want to find out more information about what's cooking and happening over in the Minicash area with the Chamber of Commerce, how do they get a hold of you?
They can come by and see us. We love to have people come into our office. We have a lot of information, a nice little gift shop, and we love to visit. Our office is located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. As you mentioned, it's right on the beautiful Snake River. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Find us on the internet at manicasiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
There you go. And I wish you a very, very nice weekend. It looks like it's going to be just like this all the way through Sunday. So blessings to you, and enjoy the great outdoors right here in beautiful southern Idaho.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Kay Cameron with the Chamber of Commerce, a lovely lady, and boy, I tell you, she's got a great job. I mean, she's got a great job because she, more than anybody else, gets a chance to really appreciate what's going on right here in the Magic Valley. Before we go to our next segment, I want to remind you, Burley Glass at 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley with our old buddy, emphasize old buddy, Gentle Ben at Burley Glass. What a nice guy. I mean, he came in with some helpers and they did my windows in my office. I mean, thorough, very, very professional. And you don't want old drafty windows where you're losing about 40 to 50% of the heat going outside to help warm some bird sitting in a nest. No, you want to keep the heat inside the house. Well, I'll tell you what, they've got the atrium windows. All you have to do is call them, Gentle Ben and Burley Glass at 1029 Overland Avenue in Burley, working hard to provide great service to all the communities in Magic Valley, 678-1459. Well, I look forward every week. We started this about a month ago, and I look forward every week to having school days in Cassia County, and it's brought to everybody by A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. And today on our program, we are going to have a gentleman that I have the utmost respect for, and that is the Superintendent of Schools for Cassia County. Doctor, are you ready to go here all of a sudden? I lost everything I had in front of me. Dr. Galen Smyers with us this morning. Thank you, Galen. Good to hear from you.
That is not until next hour.
You know what?
You're an hour ahead there, hon.
This is where the host of the program sits back and he says, would somebody peel the fried egg off my nose?
I
looked down. I did. I looked down at my sheet and I thought, well, it's time for Galen. And all of a sudden, when you said that, I had a kind of a sheepish feeling come over me, kind of like when Helen yells at you. And I thought to myself, boy, did I ever like a baby robin mess in my nest.
Well, you were sitting there talking about it, and I'm looking at my rundown, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, bud, I don't know what you had to drink for breakfast, but you're an hour ahead.
It's like I always say, though, my dear, it's always better to be prepared early.
You are correct.
But,
and hey, here is the skinny. I am going to be helping out with Dog Nation. Mort is on a transport to Dillon, Montana, taking some pups over there, so I will be covering Dog Nation.
Okay. It is time, however, after I have wet my pants. No. You do it to me every doggone time. Stop it. After I have wiped the sweat from my brow. I love live radio. I just don't like it right now. Stop it.
You want me to shut off my mic so I can laugh?
Listen, Jameson, you're having a ball at my expense. Stop it.
I am.
Okay. I would like to remind everybody, though, Gina, as I try to get things calmed down, that yesterday we had the Times News on our program, as you know.
Yes.
And Autumn Agar suggested that if there are people that would like to be a part of their Times News editorial board, now is a perfect time to put in for an application to sit on the board. You know, and I agree with her. People gripe, people complain, people call, and they do many things on the phone or complain about certain things, but they don't get involved. Well, now's the time to get involved. All you have to do is call her at the Times News at 735-3255, or you can email her at Agar, that's AAGAR, at magicvalley.com, and submit your name possibly to be selected for the Times News editorial board.
And here's my question. Is there any kind of prerequisites? Are they looking for people with particular backgrounds, or is just anybody open to sign up for this?
Yeah, I think they're looking for people that are good at expressing themselves. I think they're looking for people that are good at forming opinions and voicing and writing those opinions. And I think they're looking for people that are thinkers out of the box and not necessarily in tune to one thought or another, that they can see beyond the first tree that's in the forest.
Very good. And hopefully people who can look at both sides of the coin.
Absolutely. And also people that know what hour it is so they don't make fools out of themselves.
So that automatically puts you out of the running.
I can't do it!
I thought that was funny.
Hey, by the way, I got to tell you this too. That real quick public service this weekend. Let's see. That's today. Today, the Burley Public Library is going to meet the candidates forum, and it's going to be at 7 p.m. tonight at the Burley Public Library. Okay. And it's hosted by the Seroptimist International of Burley. To tell you a little bit about what's happened here in the scenes behind the scenes, my lovely wife took it upon herself after I asked her during the break to call the White House, okay? And she went to the computer and found the White House tour website. Okay. And it said that the White House was still closed because of the sequester. Now, it did give a telephone number, okay? She called that, and she got a recording, and said because of the sequester, the White House was closed, but then it gave another number to call, and she called the second phone number and got a male operator. And she asked this guy if the White House was closed, and he said he couldn't answer that question.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, what do you mean? You can't answer that question. You're there at the White House, and I'm calling to see if it's closed through the sequester. And then he said to her, ma'am, I'm not going to answer that question. You have to call your representative.
People of the White House, you are employed by the American taxpayer, so therefore we are your boss. So we don't have to call anybody but you to get our answer.
Isn't this frustrating? I mean, this shows you politics and government at its worst, how frivolous and how stupid these people are.
I'm speechless.
So she called Senator Crapo's office and talked to Judd Deere, and Judd, it wasn't his place to have to take time out of his schedule, and he said, yes, we're confirming the White House is still closed. And Deanne told him, well, I had to go through the White House, and he said he couldn't answer the question, and I guess Judd just kind of shrugged his shoulders and said, ay. Isn't that something?
And, you know, sometimes I am beside myself when it comes to the things that fall out of government employees' mouths.
You know, and I'm not really blaming that employee to a certain extent, because it's absolutely the environment of stupidity, laziness, and money that creates and breeds this kind of contempt for the American taxpayer.
Agreed. And you know what? We're the ones that are paying the bills. You'd think that they'd give us just a little bit more respect?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I got something else you're really going to be interested in.
Okay.
In my always searching for the best of knowledge, even though I can't tell time on the clock, I knew you'd say it before you did. I did a little research into that severe snowstorm and the severity of what it caused back in the Midwest around the Dakotas and everything.
Right.
And I got a hold of one of my best friends back in that area, Kenny Fox, big rancher back in right around the Rapid City area, a little town called Kadoka, South Dakota. And I was absolutely shocked and amazed as to how the lack of publicity, the lack of caring, the lack of news media, the lack of government involvement, the lack of offering any assistance. As we stated, there are probably over 100,000 dead carcasses laying all over that area.
And what are they going to do with those?
Well, first of all, they can't even get into the carcasses of these dead animals right now, not even counting the wildlife, the deer, the elk, and everything else, but the cows. And they can't get in because now, after all the melting of that 3 and 4 and 5 feet of snow...
It's mud.
Can't get anywhere. All the fences are down. All the cattle have gone hither and yon to all 4 points of the compass and then some. But now what was really interesting to me, and this will blow your mind, this is the part that absolutely knocked me back on my hip pockets. A lot of the cattle of that 100,000 that died in the snowstorm, you know how they died?
Starvation?
No, they drowned.
You're kidding.
No, and you know how they drowned?
They walked into the river?
No, that's the first response that everybody has. But they literally drowned internally because they were stumbling and staggering around in 70-mile-per-hour winds in a blizzard, and they inhaled the snow.
Yep, and it melted.
And they found over 2 to 3 gallons of water in their lungs. Isn't that something?
It is. It's the power of Mother Nature. Truly it is, and hopefully we can get some relief for these ranchers, because this is a large devastation to them and their business.
Yeah, and that's another thing Kenny and I talked about. He said he was very, very, very lucky, and God blessed, that the storm bounced so much. It didn't cause him all the negativity. He lost some, but nothing, to that magnitude.
Right.
And he said that the government hasn't made any overtures to help. I mean, and the South Dakota state government, the legislature, they're playing it down. They're playing it down and not coming up with the numbers that were lost. And the government, the federal government's not going in with any assistance. And it's like he said, and I said yesterday on the program, it's a total disrespect and lack of wanting to keep agriculture intact.
And here's my question, and maybe nobody knows the answer to this. Why hasn't the governor of that state declared a state of emergency?
I don't know.
That's normal. I know that Governor Butch Otter would probably do that.
Yeah. I am in the process, thanks to Kenny, of getting and obtaining more people that really horrifically lost everything they had. A lot of ranches back there, big ranches, lost literally every head of livestock on the place, many of which died in the barns.
In the barns?
In barns and loafing sheds, because the drifting was so severe they suffocated. It's unbelievable how dangerous that was. But anyway, I wanted to give you an update on that, and I was shocked when he said that most of the cattle out in the open died because they drowned internally because of inhaling the snow and all that water in their lungs.
I've never, ever heard of that happening.
Yep.
Logically, I can see, but I've never heard of that happening, and so it's kind of a shock, and to know that Mother Nature truly is that powerful.
Oh.
And, when the snow is blowing, you can't help but inhale it.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I've got a commercial, and then we're going to do something special that's fun, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's ride Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Now that I know what hour it is, I can get everything on the air just promptly. Here we go. Tuesdays through Saturdays, they're open at Let's Ride. You better believe it, 9 to 6, and it's time to clean house at Let's Ride. They've got generators, lawnmowers, power equipment at great low, low, low prices. And they've got all the new snow machines coming in. Hey, you better get ready to hit the slopes on those snow Gina's bothering me. Snow machines. And they've got all the new ATVs, the 2014 models, and a great parts and service department that can absolutely keep you going. They know how to fix everything. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. You stop in and see them today. Holy cow, where'd all these dogs come from?
Let the dogs out! Let the dogs out!
Oh, my goodness sakes. We got dogs running all over. There's a Pekingese, there's a Boxer, there's a Doberman, there's a St. Bernard. Holy cow, who let all these dogs out? Gina, what have you got for us over there today?
Well, apparently it is not Mort who let the dogs out, because he's taking a bunch of rescue dogs over to Dillon, Montana. So this is the dogs that they would like to feature today for the Minidoka Joint Powers Animal Control Shelter, and his name is Duke. He is a black lab with a white chest. He's about 1 to 2 years old. When he was found, he had a red torn rope on him, but he does have all of his shots. He has been vetted, and if you want more information, if you want to stop by and see Duke or all of the other wonderful pups that are looking for their forever homes, just get a hold of the Minidoka Joint Animal Control Shelter, and they're located at this particular moment just right behind Paul Elementary. You can give them a call at 438-2200, or you can give Officer Mort a call when he gets back into town at 670-7268. And I do know that they are also looking for volunteers to, number one, help clean out the kennels in the morning. Number two, to get out the dogs and to, walk them, get them some exercise, play with them, make sure that they stay social. And, of course, they're still looking for bedding and for those who would like to help with the new animal shelter.
I could never be a dog walker.
The dog would walk.
No, because you stop and think about it. I'm a guy on crutches, and can you imagine me trying to walk a St. Bernard? If all of a sudden that St. Bernard sees another dog and wants to take off running, all you're going to see is the bottom of my Tony Lama boots being hailed through the air.
See, funny thing is, growing up, we had Great Pyrenees.
Yeah?
And
those are big dogs.
And my parents are really, really in love with the breed, so this is Great Pyrenees number 2. And he will, if he's on a mission, there ain't no holding him back, and I think Gus is like 110 pounds now, and he's going to pull you. He's a puller.
Well, we got this one dog out the kennel outside, and I call him Big Red, and he is Big Red. And Deanne, one day here a couple of months ago, she said, "Here, hold him for a minute on the leash." And I thought to myself, this is going to end up where I'm going to be taking another trip to the emergency ward. And exactly that. The dog went around me once, and before I could pick up the 2 crutches and all my legs and stand out of the way of that thing, he hits the end of that leash going 900 miles an hour, and it was watch the fat boy go down the bowling alley. Holy smokes, did he cool me.
What you need to do is like lean back and use your crutches as a brace and just lean back into his pull.
It sounds easy, babe.
It sounds easy. Well, okay, so here's a funny story real quick. One time I thought I was going to be smart. This was when I was like 13, 14 years old. I had a dog by the name of Jaeger, and I figured, I wanted to go out for a bike ride, so I'd take him with me. Well, I put him on the leash. Yeah, don't take your dog for a run while you're riding the bike and they're on a leash because, baby, you're going to go down.
You know what? Now, this is crazy, but Deanne's sitting right here, and she can tell you I did this dumb thing on a 4-wheeler. I did it on a 4-wheeler, and I had the leash on Big Red, and he's running alongside, and I felt like Roy Rogers and Bullet, and he's running alongside, and all of a sudden the dog decided to go the other way of the 4-wheeler. You talk about jerk my fat butt off that seat.
Okay, so what you need to do is not hold on to the leash, attach the leash to said 4-wheeler. The 4-wheeler weighs more than he does.
Wow. Well, we really shot Dog Nation all to pieces, didn't we?
Yeah. Sorry, Mort. This is what happens when you're gone and away.
Oh, my. Anyway, who let these dogs out?
Let the dogs out! Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out?
Don't forget that I did post Duke's picture up on the Facebook page, and so if people want to check out Duke and follow that link, they can do so. And you've got Mr. Carl Clark on the phone
I'll take his call in just a minute. I got to tell everybody about Perkins Restaurant and Bakery at 800 North Overland in Burley, where they believe in being best buds with your taste buds. And oh my goodness sakes, Best Western, Burley Inn, and Perkins Restaurant teaming together for a great big Halloween pumpkin carving contest. Hey, I'll tell you more about it all next week, but I also want to remind you that next week on Thursday is our Zeb's Lunch Bunch right there at Perkins. Absolutely phenomenal food, phenomenal bakery with the pies and the cakes and the cookies and everything and the muffins. It's delicious. We're going to see you at, of course, Perkins Restaurant, 800 North Overland in Burley, next Thursday for Zeb's Lunch Bunch at 11:30. Don't you miss it. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Zeb. I was listening to you about your 4-wheeler and your dog. I used to have a 140-pound German Shepherd, and to exercise him, I got on my bike, and he would go with me, and he was really very obedient, but he hated cats. I mean, hated cats. And we was riding along, and a cat jumped out right when I was at 90 degrees, and he made a hard right turn and pulled me down on my bicycle, and I had road rash in my armpit. And I will tell you what, that is not a fun experience.
No. You know what? I learned a good lesson. If Big Red wants to go along, he's going to have to follow himself. I'm not going to put him on a leash. Hey, God bless you. I got Rita coming up, Carl. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. I'm anxious to hear it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on Thursdays, I have a lovely lady on this program talking politics, and she does a great job. Rita Ramsey, good morning. How are you?
I'm just waiting for her to call in.
Oh.
Wait, hold on.
The phone rings as we speak. Here she is. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here's the lovely Rita Ramsey.
Hello, how you doing?
Not well this morning, and I can just imagine you're not either, because I'm just going to start this conversation by saying this. What a pathetic waste of time and resources, and quite frankly, a loss of pride in our country over this absolute 2-week debacle.
Well, that's true. The only good part of it is that it's come out front for a lot of people to look at, and the people who are sensible know what it's all about, and at least it's come to
their attention.
Well, okay, let's get right into the nuts and bolts of this thing. And you can disagree with me anytime you wish, just jump right in. But I honestly think the only person that came out with a net gain on this thing was Obama himself, with the swagger and the arrogancy, knowing now that he can just basically write a check out and keep writing those checks out, possibly to raise the debt up to over $21 trillion. He wants a ceiling that's been raised much higher. I think now he's going to get his way on immigration reform. I think he's going to get much, much higher taxes for the funding of the frivolity of climate change and everything else. I think this opened the door for this man. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think there's a possibility of that. In all reality, it's probably true. However, there are a lot of congressmen and senators that'll be up for election next year, and so I think that if the people start screaming loud enough, they'll put it on to hold. And but I think the thing that's happened here that's really interesting is that we know where our congressmen and our senators stand, and a lot of those that we kind of thought were on our side were really on Obama's side, and so their true colors have come out, and hopefully they'll be sent back home when it's next time to be elected.
All right, now I asked this last hour. You should have been listening because we're going to have an examination on this right now. I think that what we saw over the last 2 weeks, and I'm sorry to say this, I really am, but I think we saw the complete fracturing and the splitting of the Republican Party, and it showed their arrogance. It showed their lack of willing to work internally to try to fight the main cause of fighting, and that's Obama and Obamacare and the debt ceiling. I think the Republicans are in worse position today than they've ever been in the last 40 years. Your thoughts?
Well, that's really true, but it's kind of like a tree that's damaged. You damage it a little bit, and if you kind of nurse it back together, it becomes stronger. And I think that's what's going to have to happen here, is that there are a number of strong voices in the Republican Party. You've got Trey Gowdy from South Carolina, who's just an excellent congressman. Louis Gohmert from Texas, and there's a number of them that have stood really, really tall and are against all of this spending and crap that's going on, and they're the ones that are going to be leaders, while all these others are just being wishy-washy, because you can't have a party who is supposedly conservative voting for all of the stuff just the way that the liberals vote.
Well, now, wait a minute. I got to jump in here because you and I are on the same side on this. It's just that I want to present all the different factions that are occurring. And when you talk about the wussies, and I'm going to mention wussies that I think need to be not only drilled out of office, but thrown out of office, the likes of Senator John McCain. When yesterday he made a statement that really offended me. He called Senator Ted Cruz out on the carpet last night, and he said that Cruz was on a fool's errand in trying to fight the shutdown and the raising of the debt ceiling. You know, this man has sided with Obama, sided with the left, sided with the liberal attitude in America, and to call this man, a fellow Republican and a fellow senator, on a fool's errand, it made me livid.
Well, that's really true, and if you remember, and it was only just in the last few weeks, Senator McCain was referring to Louis Gohmert, talking about how, well, those guys, when they're not informed about stuff, in other words, they're just dummies. They don't know anything. When Louis Gohmert said, hey, what is he over in Syria, meeting with Al-Qaeda for? And McCain said, oh, well, when you don't know what's going on, you make stupid statements like that. And I'm thinking, you know what? You're the one who's just showed your true colors, Buster.
When you talk on behalf of the Idaho Tea Party and other members of the Tea Party, when you talk to Republicans, be it Mike Crapo or be it Jim Risch or whatever, what are you getting for responses? Why can't the Republicans? What is the divisive stumbling block here? What is the door that's closed? Why can't the Republicans and the Tea Party come together and absolutely field a football team that's going to mow down all the Democrats?
I think it has mostly to do with arrogance. They feel like that they know everything, and they're not going to have somebody call them out and say, hey, don't you think we ought to go by the Constitution? Because they've strayed away from it so far, they don't want to be reminded of their negligence. And the other thing that's bad about the whole deal is
it doesn't matter whether it's in our local governments or our state government or the national leaders. They're all the same way. They won't learn the facts. They'll sign things when they haven't even read them, and they'll just go along with somebody because it's going along. It's just like Common Core. Nobody knew what was in Common Core, and yet they all kind of went along with it. And it was the same way with Obamacare. There was tons of those people that voted for it that had no idea all of the stuff that was in it. They didn't take time. They didn't say, you know what, we have to have time to read this and study it and know what we're signing. It's just kind of like, oh, this is what's popular to do, and they're going to be after me if I don't sign up for it and give my approval on it. And so they just sign for it, and that's what they do with everything. And it's just kind of like that lady that called earlier this morning and said that she was really irritated about the $3 billion that Mitch McConnell state's going to get for a dam. Well, Mitch McConnell just goes along with everything just so that he can bring home some money and stuff like that instead of, being forthright and honorable and having wisdom and saying, you know what, we don't need to deal with that particular thing right now. If it has some merit, we'll send it through on a bill of its own. That's why you should have all bills having no earmarks, is because if they're good enough, they should be able to go through and get passed on their own, and if not, they shouldn't be done, period.
Is this what we've come to? Have we come to nothing more than lining our own pockets? Have we come to nothing more than graft and corruption and scratch my back and I'll scratch yours? Is that what it is right now to be a senator or a congressman back on the Potomac? If that's the case, we don't need to vote these people out. They need to be thrown out because they're not representing their constituency according to the Constitution.
Yeah, no, I think it is, and I don't think it's all about money anymore. It's more about power and being popular and showing that I hold the keys. You elected me. How many times have the Democrats told us in the last year and a half, we won the election, so we're going to win this? I mean, that's the only leverage that they have. That's the only argument, is we won the election. Did you forget?
Yeah, we've got a caller with a question, Rita. Go ahead, caller, quickly, please.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
The Republicans made the bad mistake of throwing the Tea Party out with the bathwater, and I think it's all a matter of jealousy, and they didn't want any civilians telling our politicians what to do.
I don't understand that way of thinking, Tony, because I think like if you fall into the ocean off a cruise line, and you're just going up and down, and maybe for the last time, do you really care who throws you a lifeline? Do you mind if it's a Tea Party member? Do you mind who it is? No. But if you can work together and save a life, and in this case save a party, or in this case save a political philosophy, why are they shunning these people?
I don't know, but there's an awful lot of power in the Tea Party because they stand for American values.
Yeah.
And they've been thrown out and hurt badly.
I agree with you. And I think Rita would too. But to thank you for your call, Tony, as always. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Bye.
Rita, I just don't understand this. I don't understand if we have a Republican faction that is so much of a good old boys club that when they look out and they see somebody that's trying to follow the Constitution or whatever, they, well, we can't have that. Why, we've got our own little niche. Why, we've got to keep power all to ourselves. Is this what they've amounted to?
It is, because they know that a lot of the things that they're doing is against the Constitution, and it's against what most people in America want. The other thing that happened, and I don't know if, this is really, the result of it, I kind of think it is that at the time that Obama started shoving Obamacare down our throats, and the Tea Party decided to organize, and people got up and said, hey, no more, was when the internet and the media started, the alternate media started just going crazy, and people could get news every day and stuff like that, to where, a few years prior to that it wasn't as prevalent, and all of a sudden now you've got instant media, and you've got people doing all kinds of stuff, communicating and sending the information along, and these guys aren't used to having somebody monitor them, and it makes them really, really mad that they can't do their little backroom deals without people knowing, which is what they did before.
Let's talk a little bit about Mike Crapo and Jim Risch. They stood true to honoring what we wanted, and that's a no vote on the ceiling and also the shutdown. What are your thoughts about them?
Well, I feel like that they represented Idaho like they should. However, in Senator Risch, he is the most conservative vote in the Senate, so I wouldn't have expected anything less. And I was glad to see that Crapo at least would stand up. I do know that he received lots and lots of mail and opinion, and he probably decided, you know what, there's no other way to vote except this way. It just makes me sad that Simpson had to be, up on the fence going back and forth, and he couldn't really decide because he comes from an extra conservative state, and he should have known the answer when this all started going down instead of waffling like he did.
I got to ask you this question. Would you please yell for somebody to answer that phone? I want to ask you about Democratic Senator Frank Lautenberg. Did you hear the story about late Senator Frank Lautenberg?
Yes, and that's another thing that should have gone through individually on a bill of its own, and if it was all okay to do it, then it could have had its own bill and been approved. I'm not opposed to them giving, death benefits or whatever they want to call it. I'm guessing they're just calling it, this is like a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
But if that was the case, why did it have to go through on the neck of this? Why couldn't it have its own bill and be approved and paid? And if it didn't deserve any merit, it would have been turned down.
Well, but it's the hiding. It's the 2,900 pages of Obamacare and the stupidity of Nancy Pelosi saying, well, we got to pass the thing before we can read it and understand what's in it. And then it's the hiding of $174,000 in a budget deal that basically wrapped up last evening that had millions and millions of people out of work, millions and millions of people worrying about their 401ks and everything. And it's the hiding of $174,000 to go to a widow that her husband was worth $57 million. It just reeks of being under the table, and I don't trust them.
Well, it's just like if your grandmother sent you a birthday card and there was, a dollar bill in it for your birthday, you'd go, well, thanks, Graham, that was really nice of you, and I appreciate it. And she gave what she could, but in the big scheme of things, a dollar doesn't do much, and I think it's the same thing. Why didn't they just give her a card and make some kind of a memorial announcement saying, we're going to put up a little plaque here and have his name on it, that we appreciate his service, and that's good enough. But to spend the taxpayers' money like that, especially for someone who doesn't really, really need the money, is ridiculous.
Yeah, but now, Rita, here it is. This is October the 17th. Do you realize, I'm sure you do because you know everything about what's going on in politics, that we could be having the same conversation in December?
Oh, yeah, and we will. And the Republicans are going to be the bad guys again. But you know what? I think if they need to fight it, they need to fight it. They need to also know that there's a ton of opposition about it, and we're tired of them spending money without merit, and they need to start cutting back in places and saving some money. Our president is just going to rack up so much debt. I mean, the Chinese have already called for the de-Americanization of the dollar. In other words, they're saying, let's get away from that at all because we can't trust the Americans. They're not solvent anymore.
That's true. What were your thoughts about Robert Redford? And if you didn't see that tape about Robert Redford, the actor, it was just very disgusting as he was interviewed about the shutdown and the raising of the debt ceiling, and he said that certain factions of the Republican Party are probably racist because they didn't want to go along with Obama. I said it last hour, and it totally offends me. Why does the left always play the race card if things don't go just their way?
Because they don't know any facts and they don't have anything as smart to say about it, so they say that because that just takes everything off of the table. And then they've brought it up, and it's just like saying somebody asking you a question about something, and all of a sudden you go, wow, look outside there, look what's going on, and you just divert the attention away from you because you don't know what the answer is, and all of a sudden, they're paying attention to something else, and you don't ever get back to the question that was asked. He has proven that he's empty upstairs and he doesn't have any kind of knowledge about what's going on other than to say, well, I'm sure it's because he's black that they did that. totally wrong.
When I come back, I got to take a little weather break here with MichaelRogersWeather.com, but I want to ask you about the Tea Party here in the state of Idaho and the strength or the weakening of the party. Stand by just a minute. Our weather forecast being brought to you this hour by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls, with Ryan Horsley and the crew over there at their historic Old Town Twin Falls location since 1936. Reds will always give you top dollar for your used guns, and they've got the best of all the ammunition. They've got all the new shipments coming in all the time. They can help you with all the accessories, too. Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls, and right now, Michael Rogers Weather.
Yeah, everybody, Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Has a beautiful day in the neighborhood for today. It's going to carry all through the week. Sunny 59 for the high, 38 for the overnight and low. Have a great day. Enjoy it. Enjoy the weather. It's doing what you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to you by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Rita, what about the status, not only here in the state of Idaho, but also nationwide? Has the Tea Party taken a hit right now? Have they had their legs chopped out from underneath them, or can they stand tall, and can they see a resurgence before 2014 next fall?
Well, it might look like they lost the battle on this one, but they won't lose the war. And the reason is because the bigger percent of Americans have the same beliefs as the Tea Party people do. And I don't think that they have a loss at all. I mean, I don't think that Senator Cruz and Senator Lee had any hope of winning a thing, but they sure brought the information out to the front, let people see it, talked about it. It's been the talk of the town for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And by heck, that message got out, and there's a lot of people. You just start talking to people as you meet them here and there and everywhere, and they're all saying the same thing that I'm saying, and that is that our government is spending too much money. They should not have forced Obamacare down our throats. And why are they making exemptions for some people and not making everybody just, blanket deal? This is the thing. And there's this, the cost of it is 3 times at least what they said it was going to be, and we haven't even delved into it real deeply yet, so we don't even know that it's going to be only that much. So I think the Tea Party gained on this, and I would actually post up a win to Tea Party because they brought everything out front and brought a lot of information to people who weren't informed about a lot of those things.
If you had the power and you had the wherewithal to command and demand that the Republican Party come together and there would be an incorporation of thought, word, and deed with the Tea Party so that they could form a strong alliance, what would you do?
Well, first of all, I think I'd give walking papers to the ones who are moderates or who like to reach over the aisle and tell them to join the other party.
Okay, but how would you bring a fractured party together right now to show some power?
Well, I think that's the only way that you do is you get rid of your moderates or have them march down the road or say you either join up with the way that we believe or you're going to be left behind. People have got to start being together, but if the Tea Party was asking for something really, really outrageous or crazy, I can believe it. All we're asking for is them to be prudent in their spending and go by the Constitution and stop the regulation. And there isn't anybody in America with their right mind that wouldn't agree with that.
But let me ask you this, and again, I'm going to play devil's advocate with you, and you know I don't feel this way, but it's a question that has to be asked. Do you think that the bulk of the American problem right now is that most Americans have got their hands out waiting for a government to give them, and so the American people don't care anymore as long as they're going to get the freebies from the government?
Yes, I think that's a big problem, and it is difficult when people have got their hand out and they're dependent. But that's the message of the Democrats and the liberals, is that they get all these people dependent so that they can rule them. They make slaves out of them. Whenever you are dependent on somebody, you're a slave to them.
Absolutely.
You can't have a free society who enjoys freedom with the majority of them who are slaves to the government.
What is your opinion on what happened last night on the House floor? We don't know all the particulars about Diane Reedy, the stenographer that kind of went ballistic last night. And what are your thoughts about that lady that just basically lost it?
Well, at first I was kind of I was kind of sympathetic with her, and I thought she's just fed up like everybody else. But this morning on early radio show, they had analyzed her statements and got in with microphones and gone in and done it. And at the very end, one of the last things that she said is that the founders weren't inspired by God. They were Satanists or whatever. And so she is all over the place. I think she just had a breakdown, and it's too bad.
And here was a lady that was very well respected and making over $126,000 a year. She wasn't just a little stenographer carrying papers around.
No, and the other thing with her is that the people who escorted her off, when you heard on the microphones the thing that they were saying, it was kind of like, no, don't say that here. And so it was kind of like they knew that she was this way, and all of a sudden they're kind of going, whoa, she's kind of gone off the edge. But it was like they just kind of expected it instead of just being horrified by what she was doing, like, oh my gosh, what's happened. It was kind of like, oh, this is the way she is, let's just kind of push her off here and get her back in a little corner and soothe her and everything. I'm sure she's going to be having psychiatric evaluation and stuff.
Absolutely.
The people that were there seemed to act like that it wasn't anything startling to them.
Well, let me ask you this last question. I've only got 1 minute left, but what about locally? Have you got another Tea Party plan that you want to mention to everybody this morning?
Actually, we're trying to put together a big Common Core meeting in November. We have got to make sure that our representatives and all of the people and school boards and educators and everything know what Common Core is, and hopefully our legislators will go to the State House in January and represent us against this. We have got to stop it. The more we see about it, the worse it is, and you see people all the time when they finally find out about it. The biggest problem that we've got is that these people who read the first paragraph or the first page, they become arrogant and think, oh, this sounds wonderful, and they won't do any more study or learning about it, and so they're not finding out. Because if you were to read through it and start finding all of the stuff that there is, and I by all means have not read the whole thing, but I've read numbers of pages and information about it, and I'm just absolutely flabbergasted with the government control that it involves. And here our legislators and our school people think that it's wonderful. They need to be educated on it, and we'd like to provide that in November.
All right. Rita Ramsey, quickly, I've only got 10 seconds. Telephone number they can go get more information. Tell us, please.
678-0459.
All right. Rita, God bless you. Great conversation. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Rita Ramsey, I always look forward to having her on the program on Thursdays. Don't forget, Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, a heat pump, you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call 678-0459 and learn how Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money. At Ramsey's, they have sold warm winters and cool summers for over 57 years. Hey, it's that time of the day. I know, you're way ahead of me. I'm hungry and I'm starving to death, and I know just the places you can go for lunch today. Let's hit our little list of goodies right now. How about Burgers Etc. at 700 North Overland in Burley, and the other location at 124 South Oneida in Rupert. Oh my goodness sakes, they've got a great deal for this month. Burritos or corn dogs, 99 cents after 3 p.m. You can stop by after school for a real tasty snack. And don't forget, they got taco salads, and they got hot ham and cheese sandwiches and pastrami sandwiches, and everything's delicious at Burgers Etc. 700 North Overland in Burley and 124 South Oneida in Rupert. Hey, how about Taco Bandito? Right there at 2301 Overland Avenue in Burley. Oh, they've got the pumpkin empanadas. Taco Bandito is known for their pumpkin empanadas in the fall. And they've got all the goodies like the Bandito burrito and the macho burrito and the grilled chicken, bacon ranch quesadilla. That's good. And all the Bandito burgers, chimichangas, everything at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. How about Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn? Come on in. Enjoy the menu. Well, I tell you what, they've got steaks, and they got chicken and seafood and salads and a vegetarian menu. And they got fresh-cut Idaho French fries and great friendly servers and a dedicated staff. Wonderful place for lunch or dinner. You're going to love it. Love it at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn. And last but not least, in our continuing search for great places to go eat, we find the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, they're now serving the kids' meal for only $3.50. And also, you can get the Farmer Brown Burger. Doesn't get any better than that. Add a milkshake of your choice of flavor. It's going to be good. And they got the pumpkin milkshakes, too. They're still open 11 in the morning to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday, so you stop in and enjoy the food at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. And I know Gina is. She probably didn't have time for breakfast again this morning.
No, I did not. A big old cup of coffee, and that's about it.
You know what I'm going to have to do, just out of being a nice guy?
What?
I'm going to have to arrange for having another breakfast delivered to you. You do so many nice things for us. I think we'll do that next week.
You know, you would be on my even better side.
Oh, really?
You're on my good side, but if you do that, you'd be on my even better side.
No, I'm making a note for myself right now, and it says, Self, make a note. I did. And I reminded Self to buy Gina breakfast next week and have it delivered to the station in a 24-and-a-half-course meal.
Oh, I would love that, and I would eat it all, too.
I know what it's going to be, too. Biscuits and gravy.
You know it. Oh, and hey, have you done anything with that butternut squash?
No, not yet at all. Why? What am I supposed to do with it? It's a showpiece.
Actually, it is a showpiece, courtesy of Farmer Ross. But
it's sitting right here on my floor in my office, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, what you're supposed to, you cut it up in little slices, and you put butter and brown sugar and stuff and bake it.
Butter and brown sugar?
Butter, brown sugar, maybe some marshmallows on top.
Oh, you have just torn at my little tummy.
Sprinkle with a little bit of nutmeg, and baby, you're in heaven.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, I tell you what I am going to do next hour, though.
What?
I'm going to have the Cassia County School Days.
Yes.
As scheduled.
As scheduled. Just follow the. Just follow my lead.
The yellow brick road.
Yes. Yes. On a Thursday.
I goofed. I'll be back in 6 minutes.
You got it.
All right. Oh, my goodness sakes. Now it's hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch. On a Thursday, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with a huge tire sale going on right now. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers, including, of course, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. We're going to be talking to them in just a second. And also our friends at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Oh, have they got some delicious luncheon specials over there every Monday through Friday for just $5.95. And then they've got a senior citizen dinner special Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m., only $5.95. And what's today? Pasta Primavera with garlic toast and super salad. It's going to be delicious, always is, for just $5.95. Chadwick Sports Grill, great people, great location, 139 West Main in Burley. And as I promised, here now, we're going to run on down to 459 Overland in Burley and talk to our dear friend, Mr. Brent Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More.
Good morning, Zeb. Good to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It is a beautiful fall day, and everybody's probably getting in the mood. Thanksgiving around the corner. Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred will be tipping over beans on the carpet and everything, but you've got all the carpet that you don't care if they tip over the beans.
That's right, because we have carpets that you can live large on. You can enjoy yourself as a family because they'll clean up, they'll vacuum up, and we guarantee it. So come in and take a look at our Smart Strand carpets. Great selection, great pricing, whether it be for the guest bedroom, the living room and hall, your main traffic areas. We have a wonderful selection, and there's many new rolls that have arrived here this last week. And in addition to that, in our floor covering department, we want to invite everyone to come in and see our new and expanded tile area. That's ceramic and porcelain tiles. Beautiful selection, wonderfully priced, starting at just 99 cents a square foot, and we've got a huge display.
And if people are tired, I'm not getting any sleep, you have got mattresses to send them over to Dreamland.
We do, and right now we've joined up with Beauty Rest and having a Beauty Rest cover closeout sale. And what that means is it's time for them to change their covers, freshen up their looks a little bit. So we have our floor models on sale. And we've got a warehouse full of special buys that we have in our Beauty Rest mattress department. And let me just share a few examples with you. And it's for every room in the home, whether it's for the bunk bed, the guest bedroom, or that wonderful master bedroom. We've got queen sets actually starting as low as $199, and that's a nice inner spring queen mattress. And then we go up to a pillow top at $399. We've got a nice variety of twin mattresses starting at $79, $139, one of our very best at just $199 for a twin mattress. And then we made a special purchase of a plush top bed, really the best bed we've ever had. We have a number of sets, but they are limited as far as getting any more in the future, and we have that plush top queen set sale priced at $599, and that's an outstanding set.
Yeah, absolutely.
That bed that you're sleeping on, that wonderful True Energy memory foam bed, great selection there as well. It blends, it feels comfortable, it fills in all of those small body parts so that there's no pressure points to give you a better night's rest.
You've got adjustable beds too, don't you, Brent?
We sure do, and the adjustable beds are wonderful. You don't have to be necessarily suffering from an ailment to enjoy an adjustable bed. A lot of couples, for example, will take two twin beds, put them side by side, so each of them can control their own bed, their own destiny, so to speak. They make great beds for reading, relaxing, maybe solving a little bit of a concern with a breathing problem or that nature. And we've got adjustable beds at a variety of wonderful price points. So come in and see our adjustable beds as well.
The only man in Magic Valley that says sharks are his friends because he swims with them. Brent Lee at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More.
Hey, I thought about you, Zeb. We just came back last week from the World Senior Games. And I saw there a group dressed as though they were sharpshooters and they might be lassoing a few calves. And so we could get you into those senior games in one of your areas that I think you could do real well in.
I'll tell you what, we will visit about it, but I have the highest respect for you and what you've accomplished. Brent Lee at Lee's Furniture, 459 Overland in Burley. God bless, and thanks for coming on.
You bet. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Really nice man and a great store at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. You know what? On Thursdays, I really enjoyed this segment because I think we're all learning something about what's going on in the Cassia County school system. School Days in Cassia County, brought to you by Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, and, of course, also Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. We want to say thanks to both of those great businesses. And right now, we have with us the Superintendent of Schools for Cassia County, a dear friend of ours, Dr. Galen Smyers. Good morning, Doctor. How are you?
Great. Good morning, Zeb, and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, there's a lot of things going on, and our thanks go out every week to Debbie Critchfield because she helped organize our first school days in Cassia County, and it's been a real success in trying to inform people really what's going on with all the different schools in that school district. And right now this morning, I understand you're going to be talking about a new information system called School Connect. What is it?
School Connect is an application that people can put on their smartphone and download the app, and then that allows us as a school district, as a district level or at an individual school, to push information to that application. And so parents can receive notification about events that are at school. We still have an extensive system that we use for emergency notifications for school closures, that sort of thing. But this is an application that allows parents to subscribe through going to the app. It's a free application that they can download, and it'll work on either an Apple phone or an Android phone. And then they can subscribe to the schools of their interest. Right now, when we push out something, sometimes you might get multiple notifications if you have students at various schools, and this hopefully would reduce that amount of intrusion on people's lives. But it's an information system that is sponsored by Jostens, the company that sells class rings and graduation announcements and gowns and those kinds of things. The users will see advertising at the bottom of the screen, but it's a free application that connects parents directly to the schools, so when the schools send out information, it goes right to their application.
Let me ask you this, Galen, and it's easy for you and I to sit here on my program and talk about this new mobile app called School Connect. But have you, or are you going to have, like maybe at a parent-teachers conference, are you going to have a special meeting that might show people how to do this and how to stay better informed as a group so that they can all learn together how to use and utilize this information?
Absolutely, Zeb. This is kind of our launch right now that we're just rolling that out. And in fact, after our program, this was by design. We're talking about this now with you, but then it will go out on Facebook and some other things that the district's using to try to inform people and make them aware of it. But then, yes, we will have information available at our parent-teacher conferences, which are coming up the first of next month. And in the meantime, people will have an opportunity to see some other information that might encourage them to download the app and then begin receiving the information that will come through there. Much of the time, it'll be just reminders about things, that activities are going on. But occasionally it might evolve into being something more specific, where we're reminding certain parents of just an activity that pertains to just their children rather than a school-wide message. So we see a great deal of potential with this application.
You know, and I was just thinking of that, and I'm not nearly versed in anything like this like you are, by far. I mean, you've forgotten more about this than I'll ever know. But I was thinking that this would be, I think, in the future, a way for maybe parents and teachers to stay in closer contact. Maybe a child's having some problem with a history class, a math class, whatever, and maybe it would go the extra mile to help keep the parent informed and in the loop as to how the student's doing.
It is. It's another tool that's available to us. Now we have Power School, where parents can log on to a website and check student grades and things like that. But this application would allow us to send messages, which would be reminders in many cases that you might have a major project due, or that we're going to have certain things going on in the school, and it's just a reminder, hopefully a timely reminder to parents, and then in turn to the students, the things that are before them.
You know, we have a tendency, I know I do every day, have a tendency to maybe get mad and curse technology because I'm not up to speed on how to do some of it. But when you talk about a School Connect program, an app for parents, there really isn't an excuse anymore in this day and age for parents to be out of the loop as far as what's going on at their children's school.
We lead such busy lives anymore, Zeb, and we, really, when we talk about the good old days, they truly were. Time moved a little slower, at least it seemed to, and we had time to do a lot of the things. Now we have so many demands on our time that we have to have some of these technological advances at our fingertips in order to be able to maximize our effectiveness in doing things. And so you're absolutely right. The connectivity with the world is just incredible, because now in our pocket or in our purse, we've got a device that literally connects us to the entire world. And certainly the school district's a part of that. And and we do lead busy lives, and we have busy schedules, and so getting things on a calendar early is important.
I will say this, though. I'm certainly glad that I'm out of school, because had Mrs. Kiltz had this as my teacher in elementary school and could have forewarned my dad as to what's happening before I got home, I'm glad that this is the 21st century technology.
Well, I know that there were times when I came home and I was asked whether I had any homework, and I did, but I said I didn't because I had other things in mind, and this would disrupt that kind of a routine for sure.
Absolutely. Now, Galen, if any of the parents have questions or they need answers as to how to do this, how to get on the app, etc., is there a number to call or somebody they can give a jingle to get more information?
They could contact the principals at their respective schools. We met with them a week ago and went through it fairly thoroughly, and Debbie Critchfield has gone around and also tried to in-service some of the principals as well. So we've got people in place in each of the buildings that can help them answer any questions. But it's very simple. You just go onto the App Store and search for School Connect, and it's tied with Jostens, Jostens. And you can download that free app and select the schools. It'll list it first by district. Well, they go by state and then district, and then they can check the appropriate schools.
Absolutely.
So it's very user-friendly.
Absolutely. Superintendent of Cassia County Schools, Dr. Galen Smyer, a great friend of ours, and I want to say thank you so much for being on our Cassia County School Days. Galen, thank you again.
Thank you, Zeb, and have a great day.
God bless. Thank you much. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Galen Smyer of Cassia County School System and, of course, School Days in Cassia County, brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland Avenue in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes, there's so many good things coming up over to Child's World. Don't forget, they've got their annual Christmas in October sale coming up this next week. Don't miss it. 25% off all the toys, books, puzzles, games, everything next week. Great quality. You're going to love shopping there. And they also have a baby registry and a free gift wrapping provided. Holiday dresses are arriving daily at A Child's World. And also, thanks to Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. As you know, and you should know, colonoscopies can save lives. And they've got Dr. Ted Ray, board certified, has performed hundreds and hundreds of colonoscopies, and he goes weekly to the Ambulatory Surgery Center in Burley. For more information, call them at 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center, 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Those are the two proud sponsors of our program, School Days in Cassia County. Thank you very much. Enjoyed that segment this morning. Thank you very much, Dr. Galen Smyers. By the way, in approximately a half an hour, we are going to have the drawing for our Cow Pies and Coffee Cups winner of this week. Now, all through the month of October, as you well know, we are drawing for a winner out of thousands and thousands of names, literally, and I mean that. They're over here on the other side of the desk, of people that have entered because they are receiving my Cow Pies and Coffee Cups weekly newsletter. And so we're giving away this week a beautiful travel bag, compliments of Valleywide Home and Ranch, along with coffee mugs, baseball caps to Valleywide, and also tucked inside that beautiful travel bag is a $50 gift certificate from Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. So that's the prize for this week. And next week will be our final drawing, and you're going to be shocked as to what we're going to be giving away next week on Thursday. It's going to be fantabulous. Cow Pies and Coffee Cups. If you haven't signed up for it, there's still time to get on for next week's drawing. And go to zebbell.com and click on where it says to put your email in, and we'll make sure you get a copy of Cow Pies and Coffee Cups sent to you. And if you want to just email me, zeb@theranch@hotmail.com, I'll take care of your email address and submit it for the possibility of being drawn next week. Okay, and we'll start sending you Cow Pies and Coffee Cups. Gina, what are you doing over there?
A bazillion different things all at once. What are you doing?
Well, I have a question for you. When you and James perhaps go out to eat someplace, do you like, and we've talked about this in the past, but it's coming up again. I saw an article in USA Today about this. Do you appreciate the restaurant possibly figuring the gratuity into your bill, or
No.
do you want to handle it yourself?
I want to handle it myself, and here's why. I worked in the service industry for a long time. And I believe that a gratuity is directly related to the amount and quality of service that you give to your patron. Now, I don't want an automatic gratuity. I never did want an automatic gratuity when I was working in that industry. And here's why. Some people, okay, so you give good service to a little elderly couple and they're just going to tip you a couple cents. That's fine. You know why? Because they're living on a fixed income. There's so many different factors. Do I want, as a consumer, my gratuity figured in? No.
Okay.
Because here's why. If you automatically figure in the gratuity, the quality of service that you're going to get is going to go down.
I agree. Totally agree with you. My feeling is, and I've had this happen many times, and I'm not boasting on this, it's just that I have to travel literally all around the globe. And I think I have the right as a consumer that's picking up the tab for that meal or meals, if my wife or anybody else goes. That should be up to me as to whether I really feel that the service was, ready for a tip out of my pocket that is worthy. A lot of times I've eaten at places where literally they'll pour the coffee, drip it all over the table, throw your plate of food down in front of you, walk away, and they will get exactly $1 in a tip, and I'm walking out the door.
Yep. And here's my other thing as far as figuring in an automatic gratuity. A lot of times, and I've run across this before, where you're serving a large group of people and sometimes the gratuity is figured in, that actually hurts the server who went over and above and beyond to, give excellent service to this group, but since the automatic gratuity is figured in, that server is going to get less of a tip than they normally would.
Yeah, and here, I just want to read you a couple of these. I thought they were excellent. USA Today had kind of a Twitter USA opinion on some of this regarding tip or not to tip. Here's one that I want you to mull over because I think it's very well stated. Restaurants should be required to post what they pay the staff and the fact that the staff does a lot of work at very low pay.
Yes, I honestly agree with that because there are a lot of establishments here in the state of Idaho where people don't know. You know how much a waitress makes here in the state of Idaho? $3.33.
But you see, if that waitress, and I know there's a lot of waitresses that listen out there, I'm all in favor of going over the, 15 or 18%?
I like to do 20%.
All right.
That's my average is 20.
Okay, that's a good round figure. Let's just use that. And if you give them a tip, and it's a nice tip for the excellent service, the smile, and the really making you want to come back and go to that restaurant, but on the other side of that coin, if I'm forced into an already posted gratuity on the bill and this person is like the Bride of Frankenstein, I will never go to that restaurant again.
And I'm the type of person, and I've done this so many times before, I will write a note on the back of the ticket and make sure that the manager gets it.
Yeah.
I am that type of a person.
Well, there was one that was written in here, and I think this kind of sums it up somewhat. Tips should be based on service. Yeah. Good service equals a very good tip. Bad service equals no tip. Mediocrity service equals $1, so they get the message.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you are tipped, and I've been in the service industry since I was 13 years old. This is what I survived on college, okay? So I would go out and, give phenomenal service, and it was not uncommon for me to get a $20, $30, sometimes $100 tip, depending upon the type of service that I was giving.
Amen.
But sometimes you get those cranky customers that you bend over backwards and you just can't please, and then you just have to resign yourself to the fact, well, I'm not going to get a tip off that table, but that's okay because I will make it elsewhere. But you always strive because you know that your paycheck or the bonus to your paycheck is going to be your gratuity. So you are out there hustling your little tush off to make sure that you give every
No, let me ask you this. I want to ask you this. Is it mandated, and I don't know the answer to this question, is it mandated that at most restaurants or most places where a tip might be well served for better service, do you have to split the tips in a pot and everybody take an equal share? I've heard that happens in some...
There are some establishments that do that. Others do not. It just all kind of depends.
I don't think that's right.
Well, there's like certain situations.
Yeah, but I'll give you an instance real quick because I'm almost out of time. I know down in Jackpot, Nevada, they have to pool all their tips into kind of a big tray and then separate them. And I think that gives, quite frankly, the lazy and the sloven the chance at an opportunity for better money they don't deserve.
Exactly. And so what I will do in situations like that, because I know that there are some establishments out there, I will particularly find my server and say, here, this is for you. Put it in your pocket.
Yeah, I agree
and if
with
I
that.
decide to say, okay, and I've done this before too, can you please split this between you and the cook?
Yep.
Because the cook is the one that's actually putting out the excellent food.
Absolutely.
And then it's the waitress that's making sure that you get good service. So there's been many times where I've said, can you please split this up between you and the cook?
I just think that it's almost like taking advantage of the consumer to have it on the menu that you're already forced and coerced into paying for a service that you have not yet received when you haven't even ordered your meal.
Yep. So I agree. Do not automatically add in the gratuity. I will do that myself, and a lot of times it's a heck of a lot more than what that automatic
I agree with you.
Be.
We're going to be back in about 3 minutes. We have Dr. Michael Ritz coming on the program. Don't go away.
And now back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much. Don't forget to drift in at 545 F Street in Rupert. Oh my goodness, tonight at 5 p.m. all the way to closing, Chef Dave Haley is going to be preparing a home-cooked meal for you. Oh, it's delicious. Absolutely phenomenal. And they also have live music on Thursday evenings over at the Drift Inn. They've got luncheon starting at 11 in the morning and going till 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday with daily specials, banquet facilities, and a complete bar offering wine, beer, and spirits, lodging upstairs. What a great place. Fun place. Drift Inn, 545 F Street in Rupert. Really, really nice people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's check with Gina. Do we have our doctor on the line?
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much, Gina. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know on this program, I have had many, many, many people come on the program from all over the United States that have absolutely scrutinized and looked at Obamacare and said, uh-oh, look out. This is not good for our healthcare system in the United States of America. We have with us this morning a doctor that's going to be putting on a seminar tonight, as a matter of fact, at the Red Lion Canyon Springs Hotel at 7 p.m., and it's called A Closer Look at Obamacare, and we'd like to welcome to the microphone right now Dr. J. Michael Ritz. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning to you, sir. It's an honor to talk with you.
Well, I feel the same, sir. Let's get right to it. You've got a big seminar tonight at the Red Lion in Twin Falls regarding a closer look at Obamacare. Now, as a doctor, what are your thoughts, worries, and fears for the future about the implementation of Obamacare as we look to the next couple of years with this administration?
Well, not only as a physician, I'm also an Oklahoma State representative in the Tulsa area, which is northeast Oklahoma. I've studied the law. I've read the law twice. My wife is an RN, BSc, and a master's in nursing education, and she's read the law once. This is not just a simple health care law. This is a total grab of your personal freedoms, your personal liberties, as it empowers large numbers of agencies to move toward government health insurance, as we call it, socialized medicine.
I couldn't agree more, and the little bit that I've read about it and studied on it, and I've bought the books on it, I've talked to various senators and congressmen across the country, and after the initial shock of hearing Nancy Pelosi say, well, we had to pass the bill so we could read it and understand what's in it, I thought, good Lord Almighty, help us. If the Democrats are going to say that and pass it, we are in definite trouble.
Well, tonight we will present not just the problems of Obamacare, but also the solution. And basically, I authored legislation about 3 years ago as a member of the House Public Safety and Public Health Committees to abolish Obamacare, or at least give our citizens the right in Oklahoma, the great state of Oklahoma, to have a choice to opt out of the mandate, which is the largest part of the Obamacare law. It passed as a state constitutional referendum amendment, and that it's in our state constitution that the citizens of Oklahoma can choose not to accept it. I further went on to do that with completely nullifying, which our founders gave us that as a choice back to the Kentucky and the Virginia resolutions, where Madison and Jefferson said that we want to nullify anything that is clearly unconstitutional. Now, Judge Roberts, in his decision, says Obamacare is unconstitutional, but then he said that the federal government has the power to tax. This is the first time in the history of our republic, in 226 years, that you will be forced to be taxed for health care, which is not even in the enumerated powers of Article 1, Section 8. It is a form of socialized medicine, whether you want to call it a complete takeover by an element of our society that's been pushing for it ever since the beginning of the century. I've studied it. I've read the law. It is going to take your personal freedoms away of choice of your regular doctor. You're going to be forced to go to a government doctor. The initial onset will be very slow, kind of like the bullfrog in socialism and the boiling pot of water. They're going to implement it very slowly, but ultimately they want this part to fail and go to a one-payer option, as we see in Canada and Europe. And as we see in Canada, what has happened, they rationalize the care. If you have a chronic illness that will encumber the system with cancer, heart care. By the way, the Prime Minister of Newfoundland came to the United States for heart surgery. But if you have a chronic illness that you need to have renal dialysis, or if you're a senior, you're going to be rationed to the point of you'll never get the care. We're seeing it already now in my medical practice. I have a large group of family practice internal medicine group that I came out of when I got elected to the legislature 6 years ago. I went solo, but I still affiliate with them. And we're seeing now a large number of requirements coming at us that's already in place. And the bottom line is too much government regulation already. They've created the problem as usual. Now they think they're going to solve it by creating more government control of your lives. I try to reach out to all elements in our society. As a pro-lifer, they originally talked about, I've delivered over 2,000 babies. I've never performed an abortion. I never will. But I try to reach out to the pro-lifers and let them know, even though they said it wasn't going to be in there, it's back in the Obamacare law with the abortifacients and the abortion and so on and so forth. One of our big companies in Oklahoma, Hobby Lobby, has a lawsuit against the federal government on that issue specifically. And also, we homeschooled 3 children. One's an attorney, one's a physician, one's a highway patrolman, and all 3 of those kids, now homeschoolers will be putting themselves in jeopardy under Obamacare. They can come into your home and surveil your home and your environment to see if it's safe and trustworthy for health care, and they're going to use that backdoor approach. But don't take my words. Take words from some well-known communists that I know that many people in your listening audience will be familiar with. Let's talk about what Brother Comrade Fidel Castro said. He sent a letter, a personal letter to Obama when they passed this health care law, and he made a statement in there. He said, we consider, this is Fidel Castro, we consider health reform to have been an important battle and success, and congratulations, President Obama, to bringing this to your government, end quote. And also, for students of history, we don't have to go very far. I start a lot of my lectures. I've spoken to about 12 states now that are introducing legislation all over the Southwest, and the John Birch Society has brought me up to the Northwest and the West Coast to enunciate what Vladimir Lenin said, is you cannot completely socialize a society until you control healthcare, the arch of the triangle. You can socialize the base with commerce, industry, transportation, agriculture, education, but not until you grab and lock up healthcare can you completely socialize a society. So that's what they're up to. It's not just a health care law. There's 159 new agencies that will be implementing the law. And tell me what some of these agencies have to do with health care. The Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Coast Guard, Department of Transportation, they have nothing to do other than a huge bureaucracy now going and violating your personal liberty and freedoms.
All right. Now, I'm going to interrupt you right here, and I've got some questions I want to ask Dr. Ritz. First of all, I want to back up, and I want to ask you this, and I've never had a decent answer given to me by many of the congressmen and senators. Why, when the Supreme Court looked at Obamacare and said yes after John Roberts said the final vote, why did they not take it back after then when Obama took health care, changed it 19 times, amended it 19 times? Why wasn't Obamacare at that stage null and void because of the fact that Obama had changed it after the Supreme Court had passed on the initial version? My question is, how come nobody ever cried foul? He made the changes illegally. Why wasn't it null and void from that point on?
Well, the John Birch Society has been crying foul ever since the introduction of Woodrow Wilson's first socialized policy, and we fast-forwarded to Medicare, and we fast-forwarded to Hillary Care. Now we have Obamacare. You have to realize that the states are the only option. They're the rightful remedy to take it back. They're going to have to step up by their 10th Amendment rights. You know, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, put limitations, and the whole Constitution on the enumerated powers put limitations for it. But Washington is broken. Now, in the Tulsa area, in our first congressional district, we fired a 5-term incumbent congressman because he would not go after Obamacare, and we have now a new congressman that's one of the 21 base people that have been fighting it in Congress. But you have to realize Washington is so broke, they're not going to fix the problem. They create the problem. It's up to the states in that solution. Because they are part of the problem, that's why they have not taken it back and evaluated at the Supreme level. The Supreme Court works for the federal government. Our founders knew that. They knew that they should not have this power that they have in Article 3. They should only have limited powers. It's a limited government. They put limitations on it. So the reason for that is they work for the inside part of it, and they're not going to bring up any solutions. So what we're out here trying to, like Paul Revere, wake the town and call the people on this whole scam in Obamacare, is let the states step up with their rightful remedy by using the 10th Amendment.
Let me ask you this. As a doctor, and I've talked to many doctors in Atlanta, Denver, Colorado, all across the United States that are very, very threatened by Obamacare to the point where they may even consider leaving their practice. What about you? Do you see doctors leaving the practice of medicine because of Obamacare?
Yes, sir. In national trend and in Oklahoma is pretty much consistent with that. Last year, we lost 25% of the physicians in Oklahoma 55 years and older. They're quitting practice or they're going to larger group practices. And you have to realize who has to gain from this. It's not the doctors. It's not the patient. They're putting a wedge in between the doctor-patient relationship. Doctors will be government employees. You will not be able, even though the president said you can keep your own doctor. We have, in the Tulsa Metroplex, 750,000 people, 1 million people. We had 2 pediatric neurosurgeons that quit, left the state, got out of Oklahoma. We only have 1 pediatric neurosurgeon in the whole state now at the Med Center in Oklahoma City, which is over 100 miles away. So we're going to see, you'll hear the term access. We're going to lose access to physicians. We're going to see a lot of the physicians jumping away from primary care. The family doctors like myself that have delivered babies and taken care of families for 37 years, you're going to see those go away. You're going to see them employed by large corporations, and United Healthcare has already spent $100 billion to buy up practices and clinics. So it's going to be a huge consolidation of power, and the patients, as we said, are going to be rations to the point you're going to go to the end of the line. You know, they took out $900 billion, that's with a B, $billion of Medicare immediately. In 10 years, they're taking out $1.7 trillion, and in 20 years, $2.5 trillion to fund this bill. Of course, there's other taxes with the orthotic devices and the tanning salons and the property real estate taxes. They cannot afford to bring 35 million new people into into the healthcare system. The access will go down. You're going to have to see physician extenders, and we know where that goes. These are not physicians. These are not trained in medical school and screened to be ability to make the decisions every day, the complex decisions that only physicians. I always use the analogy when I teach interns and residents and medical students. I say you can teach a monkey how to do a cesarean, but only a doctor knows when to do a cesarean section.
There you go. Dr. Ritz, let me ask you this. We have seen the system already implode itself, if you will, because of a lack of ability to get on the system, on the internet, and apply for coverage. It's absolutely a debacle as far as Obamacare is concerned. Will Obamacare basically shut itself down because of a lack of knowledge when they put this thing together?
Well, as a Southern Baptist deacon, I pray on my knees every day that we would have some solution that would go back to the free market. I don't know the future. What I do see is the trend right now is that I was in the Army. I was a U.S. Army captain, medical corps, but the Marines have a good term. It's called I won't say all of it, a cluster. But anyway, that's what we're seeing right now. Anytime the government gets into it, I mean, they can't even solve the drug problems. They can't even solve other problems. They only throw money at it. You know, when the Department of Education came on, they were supposed to help improve education. The ACT scores have gone down. The educational abilities of being able to read, write, and compute, which all of us grew up in, the basics understanding that made this great nation as it is today. We know that OSHA was a tremendous, by the way, OSHA stands for Occupational Surveillance and Harassment Administration. And we know that OSHA is supposed to come in there now terribly efficient, going down, shaking down employers and corporations. We're going to see in my district alone, I have 3 Walmart stores. They're not hiring any new full-time employees because of the penalty, the heavy penalty tax with 50 employees or more. So you're going to see a backward trend of the economic development, the so to speak, engine that drives the economy with the small businesses and the large industry being chased away. We see a tremendous backward step into healthcare that's given us the greatest quality of life in the history of mankind.
Dr. Ritz, I've only got 2 minutes left, so I need to have your answer be short on this, but you've got a closer look at Obamacare tonight at 7 p.m. at the Red Lion Canyon Springs Inn. You're going to basically tell and share everything you know about the badness of Obamacare. Is that correct?
We're going to tell everything we can in 1 hour or so, how long it takes, with questions and answers afterwards. We're going to give the symptoms, and we're going to give the diagnosis, and we're going to give the treatment. We have a solution that will take care of the whole problem in the healthcare crisis. I am looking forward to being at that meeting, and I certainly want to wish you well and thank you for taking the time to come on our program. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. J. Michael Ritz, and he has a seminar tonight called A Closer Look at Obamacare at the Red Lion Canyon Springs Inn Hotel in Twin at 7 p.m. Dr. Ritz, please come back in the future. Well, I look forward to it. Thank you, and God bless. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. It's going to be an interesting seminar, and he laid it out, and I appreciate all of his actions and activities on the program this morning talking about Obamacare and really the devastating effects that we very possibly will see. We all of a sudden had a guest show up in the studio, and I've got to leave right after the program. You should have called. I got to haul some cattle. Jack Euler, sit down real quick, and I'll have you say hello. What can I do for you? Your mic's on. Go ahead. You got to pull that up.
I just stopped by to say hi. I was on my way back from Burley, back to Twin.
Well, it's good to see you. Anything progressing on the wolf issue that you want to share with us real quick?
There actually is. It appears the delisting in the lower 48 states is going to go through, but there's an interesting aspect of things that are going on with the sage grouse and the things that Elko County and Box Elder County are trying to do, and that is that a suit has been filed, or several suits by environmental groups, to stop any and all things with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the wildlife, the ones that go out and kill the predators, through the Ag Department. they're trying to stop all of that through the Ag Department and through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
This is a mess.
And suits have been filed.
Oh, boy.
And so...
We got a mess, don't we?
Yes.
Don't put the mic down. I got another job for you in just a minute. We're quickly going to have a weather update. We're running a little bit behind here this morning, and then we're going to have a drawing for our cow pies and coffee cups. But right now, we're going to have the weather real quick by Michael Rogers Weather, and it's brought to you this hour by Lennox Home Comfort Systems, gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And now, Michael Rogers with a weather update.
Yeah, everybody, Michael Rogers from MichaelRogersWeather.com. Have a beautiful day in the neighborhood for today. It's going to carry all through the week. Sunny, 59 for the high, 38 for the overnight low. Have a great day. Enjoy it. Enjoy the weather. It's doing what you got.
Thank you very much, Michael. Brought to you by Lennox Home Comfort Systems at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Jack, I've got just about 2 minutes, and then we're going to have a drawing for another lucky winner on the Cow Pies and Coffee Cups of my program. But the sage grouse, are you as concerned? I know you and Grant Gerber and many others have been on my program talking about this. Are you as concerned about a Western shutdown now as you were 2 months ago? Is anything progressing to where maybe we might hold off this political move?
Yes and no. I had the opportunity to talk in that meeting with the commissioners in Burley the other day, and so did the commissioner from Elko. And we both encouraged county commissions across the southern end of Idaho to get involved in projects like this to help save the sage grouse, and so they won't be delisted. And if that can happen, and I brought it out to the ranchers, that they won't need to worry about the elk being on their property after 2015 if the sage grouse are listed, because we're going to be shut off.
You know, now, let's talk about this just for a quick second here, and I've got exactly a minute left. I still find it rather ambiguous and silly and foolish that they had a hunting season for the sage grouse if it's supposedly so endangered.
I agree. I was in favor, and I suggested that as a goodwill effort, why don't the Idaho Fish and Game and Sportsmen, why don't the Idaho Fish and Game Sportsmen push forward and not have a season?
Absolutely.
I mean, that it's down to a week and one bird, so, why not? Why not push it aside?
I hope cooler heads prevail, and I want to thank you very much for all the information you provided us, along with a good friend of ours, Attorney Grant Gerber down in Elko. Grant's a hard worker on this subject, isn't he?
Grant's a hard worker on a lot of subjects.
Absolutely.
And Grant does a lot of traveling, and I admire the guy.
Here's what we're going to do, folks, and Jack, I'm going to have you just lay that microphone down on the table for a minute, and I'm going to have you draw the lucky winner of cow pies out. Jack is a guest of ours. Just a minute. We're going to hold on just a minute. I got to do a commercial here real fast, Ian, and then we're going to have the lucky winner drawn. But don't forget a great big huge tire sale going on at all 7 Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers right now. Check out the Terramax for your light truck and SUVs, or the light truck SUV tire, the Wildcat AT2 for your cars, the passenger car tires, the Ultra Z900s. They've got all the tires, all the tread designs on sale right now, along with many, many, many custom wheels on sale. And, of course, don't forget the very best in brake service and front-end alignment, shocks and struts, everything at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. Now, as you well know, and Jack, I'm going to turn your microphone back up a little bit. As you well know, that around the 1st of October, we started a drawing for my weekly newsletter and blog called Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, and we've been giving away on Thursdays great prizes. Today, we're going to be giving away a beautiful travel bag from Valley White Home and Ranch. Inside, they've got the Valley White Home and Ranch coffee mugs, baseball caps, and also inside, we have a $50 gift certificate to Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls. So we've got another about $150, $160 value prize for this morning. Jack, who is the lucky winner that you have just drawn out of the hat?
The lucky winner is Trinity Harrison. Trinity Harrison.
Okay, and we will get a hold of Trinity Harrison. If I can have that name, Deanne will go ahead and try to get a hold of Trinity Harrison, and we will try our best to get a hold of them, notify them that they are the lucky winners of our prize this week for cow pies and coffee cups. And don't forget, next week, Jack, this is what we're going to give away for a grand prize. From our dear friends at Tires West, we have a set of car tires we're going to be giving away.
Wow.
Plus a $50 gift certificate to go eat at the Drift Inn. Now, how are you going to beat that?
You can't at the price of tires today.
Amen. I'll tell you what, and we want to say...
Is that automobile tires or is that...
Those are car tires.
Okay.
Car tires. And I want to say thanks to Randy and everybody at Tires West. And that's going to be the grand prize next week. Now, Deanne's doing some checking to make sure we can get a hold of our lucky winner. And real quick, Jack... we're not that far from the legislative session coming up again in January. What do you think are going to be, quickly, I've only got a minute left, some of the hot issues that they need to get finalized up there this year?
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of things going on concerning this medical thing, and
the Obamacare,
and trying to get something straightened out within the state of Idaho. And I don't know if that will take up a lot of time or not.
I hope one thing that comes to the forefront, and I'll tell you this real quick for your response, I hope that the state of Idaho takes over a lot of federal land, or at least makes an attempt.
I do too, and I was invited and went to the meeting at the State House here a month or so ago, and from the committee that is working on that, and they are not presenting a bill in 2014, but they will have a bill ready for 2015.
Okay, Jack Euler, one of my dearest friends, glad you dropped by. See, you drew the lucky winner this morning. You get all kinds of fun here.
I hope Trinity Harrison is happy.
All right, thank you, Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, my thanks go out this week, of course, to my associate over at the main studios, and that's, of course, the lovely Gina Jameson. And I want to say thanks to her. I want to say thanks to my lovely wife, Deanne, and we'll be back on the air again next Monday. Now, you know, yesterday I had kind of a faux pas. I had forgotten that I'd booked both the Times News and the Idaho Fishing Game on the same day. So next Monday at 10 o'clock, we're going to have a repeat of Kelton Hatch coming back over and being here at 10 o'clock for the Idaho Fishing Game Report, Frosty Woldridge, Alliance Defending Freedom, all kinds of goodies. Leave the dial right here where it's at. K-Bar 1230, Zeb at the Ranch, and we'll be back riding the horse again Monday for 3 hours at 8:06. The way things were are the way things ought to be. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.